So where we last left off, just to sort of go through the characters and everything, Carver, Blinder, and Reaper had many discussions. I won't go into too much detail on them because it's you can watch them in the recordings, and as well, I presume that those topics may come up again in RP. But other than that, they discovered that Aldo, Reaper's dear friend, had been suffering from some sort of sickness after their wounds. After the stabbing, still recovering from that, after the fire that took place and all of the physical damage that was caused by that. And so, after having brought Aldo and Eunice, who Martin saved, to the loft, they realized that they were going to have to get Aldo medical treatment. So they sought out a person, going to one of Carver's contacts by the name of Brill, and worked out a deal with Brill. Brill had told them that he would provide them with a doctor and medicine as long as they found a man for him that he was looking for. A man by the name of Eldwin. Eldwin Morval, who was supposedly a chemist of some variety, an engineer, a person experienced with all sorts of modern day technologies. And Brill was looking for him because he needed him for something. He didn't go into very much detail. He gave them some clues as to where he might be, and in a sort of veiled threat, but not so much veiled, Brill said that if they didn't follow through on the job, they would remove the care that he had provided for Aldo in the form of the physician known as Virgil, and would leave Aldo to die. In the midst of all of this and the conversations that were going on, Mercy, a dear friend of Martin, and who had become a friend of Blinder's in a sense, had a side conversation with Blinder in which they decided to leave. They had talked about what Mercy was experiencing a little bit and resolved that Blinder wouldn't share that information with anybody else, and Mercy disappeared. At this point, our characters have gathered Aldo, have moved him to the place, the address that they were given by Brill to meet Virgil, and have presented Aldo unto Virgil in the darkened streets of the night market, through several winding alleyways. They found a simple back door to a building. The building seemed like some sort of shop or something of that variety. It led down some stairs into an old basement, and as they came inside, they found a sort of pseudo-medical station that had been set up, and it seems like it had been set up specifically for Aldo. Virgil is waiting there, and they release Aldo into his care. With that, I want to check in with the characters very quickly. Was there anything else? Because we sort of left last week's game at that moment, and I know that there was things you all wanted to talk about or resolve, or there was things going through your head. So before I just throw you into a scene, I want to ask, was there anything that anyone had that they wanted to handle specifically on the way to getting Aldo medical attention or anything of that variety?
Blinder is going to find 2 pieces of cotton.
Okay.
Like small pieces of cotton, and or something similar, and put them in his ears. He will look visibly like he's starting to come down with have a migraine or something.
Okay.
So, and
And so this is on the way to dropping off Aldo at the place you're meeting Virgil?
Yeah, he goes upstairs and he basically he starts rubbing his eyes and his temples, and then he looks around at the the cheap what served as a pillow for him the night before, and kind of tears it up a little bit and reaches inside and takes out the cotton, or whatever it services as cotton,
Mm-hmm.
and the stuffing, and he kind of wads it up and wraps it in a little piece of cloth so it doesn't like stick around, and he's kind of just sticks him in his ears, and then he starts helping people, and as they mutter or mention things to him, he'll sit there and crook his ears, trying to hear a little bit, but so it's very obvious. I mean, it's very obvious he has something stuck in his ears, but
Okay.
yeah.
Was there anything else from the rest of the cast?
So I'm assuming I'm with them at this point.
Oh, I was going to get to you here in a second,
Okay.
actually. So to let you know what was going on. Anything from Reaper or Carver?
Nothing from me.
Okay. And nothing from Carver? Okay. When I last spoke about Martin, as I had expressed, seemed to be thinking about something. Presumably, Mercy going missing after only really being around her for a night before she left.
Do I know she left?
You went to sleep,
Okay.
and when you
Nope.
when you woke up, she was gone.
Okay.
No note, no nothing.
All right.
So that same day, Reaper, Blinder, and Carver spoke to you, and you seemed lost in thought. I had described, and they told you that they were going to go take care of Aldo, and they were going to leave Eunice with you. So you
Okay.
and Eunice have been inside the loft for pretty much the entire day.
Well, I suppose until we find out where we're going, Eunice, that's your name, yes?
Mm-hmm. She says.
Do you want to stay here, or would you like to go somewhere else?
I wanted to stay with Aldo, but I understand with everything that's going on that it's better if less people went with him.
It is, especially probably with where they're going. You might not want to.
That's fair.
So where's your home?
I live in Char Hollow.
In the section that got burnt down?
No, I live a few streets down.
All right. Well, if you'd be willing to head back to your place, I'm willing to take you there.
I don't feel safe heading back to my place.
Fair enough. I can't just leave you here.
Are you planning to leave?
I want to.
Okay.
I mean, have you seen the clothes I'm wearing? They are torn. They are muddy. Some parts of here are bloody. I don't feel like me right now. This is not a way I should be presenting myself.
If you want to leave, I'll be fine here. I presume Reaper's going to come back eventually. They left me with some food and some things. I mean, nobody should know that I'm here. I should be safer than I would be back in Char Hollow.
Well, I'm not gonna just leave you here. So, Eunice, what do you do for fun?
Usually I go dancing.
Really? Look around the apartment. Where the safe house where we're at? Is there any kind of music player, or is this just like a ransacked place?
This is, if you remember talking about it in game 2.
Oh,
was
yes.
the loft
No, the
they-
smell.
The smelly place, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
We've been calling it the loft. It's basically a loft in the far corner of the night market, close to the wall, and it is a dilapidated, vacant 2-story building. You've mostly been staying in the second floor, but there's a stairway down to the first floor, which is just as equally vacant and old. You know, there's the portions of the roof that have fallen in at points. Not necessarily into the loft space itself, but like, you know, like sort of caved in, and there's water trickling down. You can see the stains on the ceiling. The wood is old and smells of mold. The paint on the walls, the same thing. This was definitely why your character didn't like this place for the for the time you had to stay here.
Well, I don't think they'll be gone all day, and I don't dance. Sorry.
That's fine.
So Martin will just go find the cleanest place to sit.
Mm-hmm. There's some like boxes and empty things like that, like some rubbish basically set about that people have used as sort of chairs, like an old crate or something like that.
Sure. I'll go get a crate, maybe a couple crates, and dust them off as best I can. Make myself a good chair. Gets a couple of boxes, dusts them off, maybe finds some kind of like thick cloth, kind of lays it down, makes a little cushion.
Okay.
Sits down and just spends however long until everybody gets back, making a shopping list for when he next gets to go to Dunridge and Sons.
Okay. So what ends up happening during that day is you don't see them all day. They eventually come back late at night when you've finally gone to sleep. Speaking of which, this is that day that was happening for them. So this is sort of flashback moment just to keep Martin up to date. They were gone all day. And when they did return, they returned late in the night when you'd probably already even gone to sleep. You sort of wake up to them talking and having conversation, and then they eventually move Aldo and just leave you sleeping.
I go out to go check. Did Eunice go with them, or is she still here?
Eunice is still here, and she's asleep.
Okay. Check on her. Go check whatever we have for an excuse of a lock.
Okay.
And, lock the door, put something in front of it that'll make some clatter.
Sure.
And I go back to sleep because obviously they don't need me right now.
Okay.
And just wait until they get back. And not like super restful sleep, just kind of rest.
Yeah.
Staying alert as I'm the only one here.
Mm-hmm. Is there a sense of Martin's wondering why Reaper left? Like, what is going on in Martin's mind?
You mean Mercy?
Sorry, yes, Mercy. Apologies.
Ah. Well, she does this from time to time, but most of the time she at least tells me that she's going.
Okay.
And nobody's told me that she's going. But you know what? She disappears when she wants.
Okay. So Martin's not too obsessed or anything of that variety with the idea that Mercy basically left randomly without saying goodbye.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things. A lot of memories of home and other people leaving him in those dark spaces where he wasn't supposed to be. Always walking away. Can never have a dream about them walking forward. Kind of looks over at Eunice and just... And he just kind of stands there, watches her sleep until he gets tired enough to go back to bed.
Oh, so he's like sitting there in his bed, like kind of just looking at her.
Yeah. Just making sure she's breathing.
Okay. So Reaper, Blinder, and Carver. When you delivered Aldo, it didn't seem like there was really any space for you to stay. Did you ask to try and stay somewhere nearby, or what was your idea?
As a rule, once Aldo, he keeps a decent distance from Aldo, even
Okay.
as they're transporting him over. He didn't handle him physically,
Sure.
or anything like that, unless he was told to check on him or something like that. So when he goes into the doctor's, Ezra steps out, and I kind of keep an eye on the street and wait for the others to return.
Okay. Reaper.
I'm gonna accompany Aldo into the doctor and just take care of normal housekeeping things like a way to contact me if needed, and see if the doctor can make an assessment while there.
Virgil looks at Reaper and he's like, I won't know until I've done some testing here. It'll take a few hours. Minimum.
Okay, I'll be back later on if
Okay.
I can. If not, you'll see me. What time of day is it?
It's evening, late evening.
I'll probably see you sometime around midnight or something. Or
Okay.
maybe a little bit later at night.
He nods to you and then heads back to Aldo.
Okay, I'll go out into the street.
Okay. Where was Carver during all of this?
Carver would have helped them get Aldo safely where he needed to be.
Okay.
Once there, though, he'd probably kind of slink off to the side and make sure that he wasn't, anywhere visible.
Sure.
Knowing
so he's,
that he's
not
been
down
tracked.
in the basement. Yeah, he's sort of out of sight, but nearby. Okay. So, eventually Reaper comes back out. Blinder is sort of keeping watch. Carver is around a corner of an alleyway, also seemingly keeping watch. And the three of you are left there in the street. Darkness set in. It's mostly silhouetted shadows being cast down the alleyway towards you. There's a bleak light, like an old oil light set on the street, far in the distance, at least 50 yards or so.
We should probably head back. We have a job to plan for.
Yeah.
Yes. That would be good. Yes.
You okay?
Oh, I'm quite. I don't like night market very much. It's something about the lighting here or something.
Yeah, let's get going fast.
So you all head on your way back to the loft, eventually finding yourselves there. You come up to the door. It seems to be locked, or something is blocking it a tiny bit.
I'm gonna push the door a little bit more to see if it gives.
It gives, and something goes clattering on the ground behind it.
I'm gonna
With-
step back away
with-
from the door for a minute, just like if it's something more of a trap or something.
Mm-hmm. So you sort of are standing back from it. You push the door open, stepping back just to be sure. Okay, sure, yeah. And you just see a bucket sort of clatters down off of it.
And with
Carver
that,
immediately palms a knife.
Okay.
Blinder gets in the back of the row of people. He's just
Okay.
like, see something? You just start stepping very slowly backwards, a little bit more exitward.
Martin, of course, wakes up to the sound of the clattering.
Right. Oh, what? No, fuck. What? Hops up, stick in hand. It's like a small piece of lumber. That's just to hit him stick. Who's out there?
Oh, it's Reaper and crew.
Oh shit! All right, come on in. Well,
Who
the
the
alarm
fuck is
worked.
that? Is that Martin?
That's Martin.
Yeah, it's Martin.
All right.
So it was just me in here. I wanted to have some kind of alarm.
Well, it worked.
Smart. That worked.
But Blinder
Look-
comes in through the door and kind of, Mr. Martin, tips his
No
head
fucking way.
forward. And
No.
he kind of
No.
sidelines along the wall, like the
Hey.
maximum distance between him and the very gigantic Mr. Martin.
And eyes are just trained on you the whole way. He gets to get a new set of clothes, and I don't.
That was up to our employer.
Our employer? Our employer.
I forgot to inform you, we're a crew. While we were out, we decided we're going to be a crew. We've got an employer, we've got a job. I'm sure Mr. Blinder can fill you in on the details.
To be more precise, we are not a crew as much as we are working together for the time being.
No, we're a crew.
I guess
No?
we're a crew now.
What she said.
I mean, the only connection I have between any of you really is Blinder. And that's
You
just
want-
because I need to figure out who's ruining my rep.
Martin, do you want to go kick down doors and bring people back for payment?
Can we hurt them?
Probably.
More often than not, yes.
Mr. Martin, I believe that we we have a little bit of air to clear, yes. We and the answers as to your question require Mr. Aldo's cognizance, the man who we carried here, if you weren't familiar with him. Because I, as well, am being sort of framed for this malicious deed that was done to him. And in order for him to be cognizant, awake, we needed a doctor. And that required, of course, an exchange, because you can't get anything without giving something in the city.
Oh yeah, nothing's free.
And that requires a service to be done for Mr.
I
Grill.
liked her explanation better.
Sure.
Kicking a door, grab a person, leave. If people get hurt, oh well, and we get paid. I'm down.
I just want to ask one question before we continue. You're not here to kill me, are you?
I didn't want to kill you in the first place. You can't talk if you're dead.
Which brings me to my next question. Are you here to hurt me or inflict physical pain?
There is no monetary gain or professional advantage I'm getting in doing anything negative to you. Okay?
And-
So calm yourself and take the damn cotton out of your ears. That's probably why you can't hear me.
And he visibly winces as he takes the cotton out of both ears. And, he seems to be like kind of favoring, the sides of his head. And he starts, when you're, like if you have a bad tooth pain or something like that, where you just kind of like,
All right. Put it back in. Damn.
Thank you.
I've never seen somebody. Wait, can you like hear the smell?
No, it's something I don't know what quite precisely what causes it. Is this a sound? My hearing range maybe above normal. I don't know.
Oh, awesome. Right. So, like I said, the only connection I have is between me and Blinder over here. I know you, points at Reaper. I know you through Marlene, and that's only briefly. Like, I've seen a couple of your fights. You're pretty good. You know, it was when you were early on, though, so I don't know what you got now. But I'm definitely in the favor of kicking in doors and grabbing people that need to be grabbed for money. I'd prefer not to hurt people, though if I'm going to, I'm going to enjoy it. Might as well.
If you need to hurt somebody, they probably deserved it.
Probably. Most people that get in my way deserve to get hurt.
So, it's settled. We're a crew.
Well, I don't know. I don't have a connection with this other guy. Who
With
are you?
what other guy?
The
you're talking about
Carver. Yeah.
Hey, Carver,
know
connect
you.
with him. Connect with him. You do know him. You know his name.
That's because he introduced himself in the wagon.
See, he was very polite. That's the first step to knowing each other.
Yeah, and then he screamed in my face when I was trying to clear something up with Blinder.
That's because he's very touchy. He's got some explosive anger problems.
Somebody I think that you would agree with.
Yeah, that's fair. We can talk in screaming.
I do comprehension through pugilation.
Oh, me too. What's up?
Yeah.
I don't
Hey.
know. No,
Hey,
that would-
I
isn't
know
any
some. I know some smart words.
Okay.
I read.
Okay.
Good.
All right then. So who the hell are you?
I'm
kind of
Carver.
Okay, awesome. How do you get tangled up in all of this? Because this is a whole new mess compared to the mess I was in beforehand.
I need help. In order to gain the help that I need, I needed to, in turn, help them. Which sees us in this predicament of actually having employment. And, yeah.
Okay, what are we getting paid?
I'm paying back a debt.
So you're using the three of us to pay back your debt.
No, I'm
Well-
using the two of them. You weren't actually part of the deal.
And I'm
Oh.
also having Aldo helped in exchange for this.
Oh, so we're paying to take care of Aldo.
Well, like Carver said, we three, you weren't included in the deal.
I do believe for the best interest of acquiring his services, Miss Reaper, we should invite him. Mr. Martin, would you be so kind as to help us out with our plight, and in return, I'm sure you will find the answers that you seek. I will answer any questions, provided they don't come at the expense of my physical well-being. And Mr. Carver here is also seeking answers to his own dilemmas. I believe
Right.
we all have a mutual aim at this point, and we've established that we're not, in fact, going to kill each other, which is quite good. That means that maybe it would be best to work in each other's company for right now, towards the same aims.
Wow, I lost like the first half of that.
How about
in-game.
this? And I'll pull out the last remaining portion of the meal money that he gave me, that Brill gave me.
He actually gave you quite a bit. He gave you a coin's worth of silver.
Okay. Well, I'd already given those two their share. So,
Oh, okay.
just whatever's left, I'm gonna basically hold up to Martin.
Okay.
Right. No, that would make me work for you. No.
No, I didn't offer a contract, nor did I specify that there was anything attached to this money. This money
Yeah.
is for you. You can take it, and you can shut the fuck up.
Gentlemen. I understand that your language is an aggression and towards each other might be productive in your own
My
sense.
language is of endearment. Men of this caliber only understand aggressive language.
I think we all have something to gain of mutual interest from working with each other, and if that wealth were to be distributed evenly, we all get our answers, we all get prerequisite payments of debts. That in itself should be
Look.
motivation. We are not working.
I
We
just
ha-
got
we-
one question. Just one. You three agreed to do a thing. You want to rope me in on your deal, which is kick in a door, grab a dude, bring him back. That's the job.
Yes.
Is there anything to say that we can't loot the place where he's at?
Possession is 9/10 of the law.
Oh shit! No, I'm down. Let's go. Who we getting? I mean, all you had to do was explain it. It was, all you had to do was explain it, and I'm down.
I believe we are to negotiate even vigorously in your method of negotiation.
I'm a debt collector, man. I
then
do this professionally.
we are looking
The
for
name
Mr.
of the
Morgan.
mark. The name of the mark is Eldwin Morville.
Edwin Morville.
Eldwin.
Eldwin Morville. I think I'd remember a name like Eldwin. I don't think I've ever heard of him.
Well,
Do we know
we have
where
a
this
lead.
guy is at?
We have a lead on a pleasure house that he frequents.
Okay. So now we have to go bust in the door of someone else's building.
No, we don't bust in the door on a pleasure house. That draws too much attention. Attention that none of us are in the state to accept. What we do is we go and diplomatically ask questions without breaking fingers or harming people, so that we can get another lead that might lead us to someone whose fingers we can break and get more information from.
So
Yes. I believe that a social approach to this situation would be more fitting than a violent one necessarily. Although I expect things will most likely. You'll be able to kick down a door, I'm sure.
So now there's two jobs we're doing. We got to go to a place and talk to a person to get some stuff, and then go get the guy.
No, we need information on where he's actually at. We have a lead, but we need to follow that lead. And if we agitate the lead and pull the thread before we have a firm grip on it, we risk breaking the only thing that we have that could lead us to him.
Right. Well, I can be charming if I have to be. Most of the time. Listen, I don't know what was set up. I don't know what was done. I don't know what was discussed about.
I know,
I don't-
and I want to thank you for staying behind and taking care of... What's her name again?
Eunice.
Eunice? Eunice.
Yeah, but that does beg the question, where does she go?
I think Eunice is capable of staying here.
That's what I suggested to her.
That's the point of this being a safe house, is that it's safe for her.
Eunice?
She's
You're going to feel safer? Oh, she's asleep.
Mhm.
All right. Well, somebody better leave her a note. My handwriting looks like a 2-year-old with an inkwell.
Well, Carver's still holding out the bag of money. Do you want this, or should I leave this for Eunice?
Give it to her.
I'll leave it to Eunice with a note.
Wherever we go, I'll be able to recoup.
The note will say, this is for food if you require it. We are on an errand to help Aldo.
Okay.
So where are we going?
What was the name of that pleasure house again? I lost it.
This is the game before I bought a notebook, but let me see if I think I took a note down. I believe, yes, he frequents Ashland Wharf, a house of pleasure, regularly.
And I'm going to ask, is it possible that we could swing by Dundred's on the way?
Why?
Please? Please.
Okay. Okay.
Why?
Do you see what he's dressed in?
Thank you.
Oh, fair. I figured that you could stay dressed like that because we're gonna get more mud and blood on it.
Can we at least give him a bath?
That comes with it, of course. But it doesn't matter if we're going to get muddy and bloody after that. This is not me. I have not had my skin for 2 days now. 2 days! You ever walked around without your skin? It ain't fun.
Without your skin.
My skin. My skin.
I believe he's referring to his clothes. I sympathize, but yes, I have in fact walked around, which is why I myself.
Yeah, and if we're supposed to be going somewhere where we're required to look somewhat put together, I don't want to show up and looking like a piss bucket.
That's fair.
To Storyteller, is Dungeons and Sons on the way to the Ashen Wharf?
Yes, because of the side of the night market that you're on.
Okay, and it's on the way.
Oh, it's a little out of the way, but it's in the same direction, relatively.
It's on the way. Okay, well, it's the middle of the night now. I say we get some rest till it's time to be up and moving, and my store will be open. Or do we leave now?
I think we should leave as soon as possible.
Yes.
Do I know if Dungeons and Sons will be open at this hour?
It would not. It's too late in the evening. Think of like it's probably like 11:30 in the evening.
Right. Well, unless we wait until regular business hours, Dundred's isn't open until Dundred's is closed at this point. So could I by chance go to where old Blinder here got his clothes?
I believe Mr. Penn might be able to facilitate. He had quite a selection and was very keen with his.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And since more than likely it's not going to be paid for, probably need a little money for that. I have some, but I don't know if that will be enough.
I have some coin. I might be able to supply. I don't really have much need for money, too much.
Well, we'll try and keep it on the cheaper side, but thank you for your offer. So, if we're leaving, let's leave.
Yes.
All right.
So you're heading to Mr. Penn's place. Blinder, you're leading them there because you're the only one that's been there.
Yes.
Okay. So you travel through the night market to the very edge of what is considered sort of the nicer, more, think of like city central of the district. As I explained before, the districts of Duskfall are so massive. Think of like the entire city of Duskfall is like New York or some massive town. And each district is a huge neighborhood unto itself, like Brooklyn, etc., right? So as you're walking through this section, this district of town, this night market, you being on the very, very far edge near the lightning barrier, far away from Gaddock train station, which is where everything is sort of centered and centralized, shops sort of build out from there. So you're off to the sort of northeast side, basically. You follow it toward right when you get to what starts to become much nicer places. There's electric lanterns, there's power cables running every which way, and Blinder starts leading you through some alleyways, past some shops, and then you all find yourselves in a side alley of what looks like sort of a, not dilapidated at all, but abandoned building. Like you can't see inside, all the shades are shut, there's like thick metal on the windows, kind of a thing, like it's been reinforced to keep people from getting in or out. You might have thought at some point maybe it was an old factory or something, but it's been chopped up into pieces and turned into shops and different things like that on the street. So Blinder walks up to this thick reinforced door and knocks, I presume.
Yes. Knock. Excuse me, Mr. Penn. Mr. Penn.
A window slat opens up, and you see Mr. Penn's eyes. Hello?
I'm sorry to barge in on you at such a late hour.
Awkward shy man. How are you this evening?
I'm doing wonderful. I
saw you 3 or 4 hours ago. Did you already put a hole in the suit I made you?
No, your skills have impressed one of my friends here who is desperately in need of your skills. Would you be able to whip something up for him? Nothing elaborate, mind you. I understand you need sleep, as we all do. Just a little bit of a quickie.
You realize that when I made your suit, it took several hours.
Just what you have on hand and a short fitting. That would be all.
He sort of peeks near the window hole. He like peeks out and looks up. It looks like it's about to rain. Please come in. And you hear a shink, like a slat, a lock slat, open up, and then opens the door and lets you all in. Who are your friends?
This is Miss Reaper. Mr. Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Evening.
He will be the one requiring your skills. And Mr. Carver Bouchier?
Bouchier.
Bouchier.
You all see, for the first time, a late 30s, early 40s man, peppery, dark and gray hair, like a black and gray hair. He looks to be Akarosian. His facial hair is very well kept. His mustache is like very thin, coming down into basically like a goatee. It's a nice goatee. but he is an older man. Even the beard itself is a little bit peppery. As you step through the door, you realize that he wasn't wearing clothes. He was just wearing basically like a bathroom robe sort of thing. So you can't see any nakedness or anything, but he's wearing like a bathrobe that's slung over and tied with like a belt of cloth. And it seemed like he had set down a glass of wine. And you notice throughout the area there are electric lights turned on. There seems to be a one of those old, what is the name of it? The old record players. I'm trying to remember the
Victrola?
actual. Yes, he is one of those like very old things, and it's playing like what would be for this time like classical music, and it's sort of singing out through the space. You notice that it's a very large loft room that now with all the lights you can see is like multiple, an open loft of 2 stories, and there is just clothing everywhere. There is fabrics, there is like think of mannequins or like primitive mannequins of 1800s set by suits and things of that nature. I mean, it doesn't have the pomp and circumstance that Martin would be used to being at Dundridge and Sons, which is an open store that people walk into. Think of like a commercial store. This is more like it's like you're getting it from the actual tailor themselves in the space that they work in, which is in fact what you're in. You can see there are sewing machines off in one area, the very primitive old sewing machines. There's like stitching areas, and in the very center is a wooden podium set up with mirrors beset on one side as like a big semicircle.
Martin spends about 2 or 3 minutes just open mouth gaping at the room.
Mm-hmm. You can see for the first time, you didn't notice it before, Blinder, because you were a little bit awkward the whole time, but you notice that there is a stairway in the back, like an old metal spiral staircase that goes up, and you notice upstairs there seems to be no clothes, and you can see that the lights are actually turned up there, and it looks like it's like he's basically turned it into like a living space. Like there seems to be like cooking maybe going up on there. You see, like, you hear what you think is probably a tea kettle going off.
I'm sorry if I realized it was late, but I did not. So we will keep our appointment short. Thank you so much for seeing us.
And if you don't mind, when I get some appreciable coin, I would like to commission something from you at some point.
Sure.
If that would be worth your while, but honestly, like I will take anything you have that fits as long as it's moderately close.
Mm-hmm.
And I would prefer matching.
Mm-hmm.
Not too loud, but noticeable. And the softer the shirt I can get, the better.
Okay. I mean, it's a bit late for me to be doing work, but having guests can be wonderful. You all at this point hear a voice from upstairs. You hear a voice like, what is going on, Elijah? And Elijah's just like, don't worry about it, just some guests. And you can't see the nakedness, but you see a man walk up, and he's like standing there basically butt-ass naked, but because of the banister, you can't actually see his lower half, and he's just standing there looking down, and there's this awkward moment where he's looking at all of you, and then you're looking at him, and then he's looking at you, and he's like, I'll get dressed. And
Carver just gives him a reaffirming nod, just kind of looks up and goes,
And then he disappears out of sight.
Definitely my apologies for wanting to come. For interrupting a personal evening.
Oh, it's just Benton, don't worry.
Ezra will hand over a coin, part of the coin purse. Is like, here, I believe this should sufficiently cover the cost and the expense and the inconvenience and such things. Very good.
Elijah takes the purse from you, holding it, and then sort of looks at you, and then shakes his head and goes and sets it down. Do you know how much I charge?
Not particularly.
Okay. Well, let's not worry about it then. I appreciate your gift. Thank you.
Very, very good.
While this is going on, Martin has kind of gone over to a couple things and is looking at like stitches and stitch work,
Okay.
trying to, judge it against what he knows Dundridge can put out.
It seems to be of a similar, if not better, quality. It seems like everything is done handcrafted by this person. There's less of a sort of factory output like you occasionally get from Dundridge when you're looking at their work. Like they're just trying to put stuff out because they have so many customers. And it seems like from what you're seeing that this is a by piece business. Everything is custom tailored specifically to the person, and each client is in and of themselves a person who comes in and then pays, rather than it being like a shop you walk into.
Martin is just getting lost in different fabrics, looking at different things. Like, imagine like the 10-year-old that gets let loose in Toys R Us.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going around playing with everything, noticing it, gawking, taking notes, just kind of everything. And he looks back to the man in the robe. I can't afford this. I can't afford any of this.
Were you the potential client?
I am.
What was your name again, dear? Elijah says to Blinder.
Mine?
Yes. You actually never told me your name earlier today.
Oh, I am called Blinder. Is the name I go by. Mr. Blinder, if you wish.
Blinder's fine. And your friend, the potential client, which one are they?
I'm Martin.
Ah, you. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well,
MacCalister, if you've
I
heard
have
the
tea
name.
finishing on. I think Benton's getting it ready, and he'll probably bring that down. I hope you understand that it is quite late, and this could take me a few hours. So if you want custom work done, it's going to be some time, but if you want perhaps one of my suits and have me fit it to you, that would take significantly less time.
Well, that's kind of what I was hoping for. I now have a goal of where to shop. But yeah, no, I was hoping for just something off the rack that would fit and would at least be matching.
Is there a specific color you have in mind?
Oh, I don't know. I like deep red.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. So, the man who he had been speaking of, Benton, comes down, now dressed in slacks and a nice shirt. Comes walking down with a tray of tea. Basically pushes some cloths off of a table and sets them off to one side, and then pulls out chairs for you to sit down. And as it's happening, Elijah just sort of disappears into the back of the big warehouse space behind some piles of things off past the mirror. I think I have something.
Oh, good. Would you like me to come back?
Sure.
Okay. Go back. Already taking off the outer stuff.
As you walk around, you see that there is he's putting together a suit, basically, and it seems like he's taking it from other things and putting it together. The jacket is a deep sort of red, vibrant, though, at the same time. The fabric seems very, very nice. It's obviously some sort of a Ruvian weave. There's sort of a sheen to it. He's beset it by a simple silk, like, sort of shirt to offset it. And then the pants, he was unsure if you needed them, so you can see that there's just the jacket and the shirt.
Oh, I will be needing some pants. These have walked through too many mud puddles.
I don't have any pants that match the color of the jacket. Are you okay with a sort of offset color, perhaps?
Black is fine, if you have a bare black. Yeah.
Sure. A belt man or suspenders?
Oh, belt. Every time.
He goes around, and then eventually, going through some things, he finds some. He comes up to you. He takes a bit of string, sizes you up, checks everything, and then goes off and sits down and starts working.
There's absolutely no awkwardness where his hands go for the fitting. This is just like, all right, it's Tuesday.
Yeah, this is Martin's very, very used to this. Yes.
Oh yeah.
So they disappear off into the back for 30 or so minutes. Benton serves you tea, brings like some little snacks and things, like some cheese and some sort of crackers, but it's more like slices of bread. And then Benton ends up heading back upstairs. About 30 or so minutes later, Martin comes walking out in the suit I described, black pants. His boots have been shined a tiny bit.
Like demudded.
Yeah, demudded, basically, with those sort of like big brushes. And he seems to be at least freshly dressed and much better dressed. Because he chose black, you notice that he changed the color to more fit with the black pants going into the red jacket. So
right.
he ended up choosing a dark color for the shirt, so it wasn't like red, white, and then black.
Right. So more like I don't know, like a bronze color would work pretty well, I think.
Sure. Yeah.
Or silver, something.
Sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Elijah. Is it?
Yes. Elijah Penn.
Elijah Penn. Well, it was very nice to meet you. And is there a better way to contact you than to come to a back alley?
This is my place of work. I usually do things by appointment. Generally, people will send messengers ahead and say what time they're available, and they either come to me or I come to them. I can tell by your friend that he's new to town in some variety. So I understand the issue, shall we say. Plus, I understand the person he works for, and I presume this is something of an official capacity. So
it is.
I presume the lateness of the hour is only happening because of business.
It is, and I will do what I can to find you again to try and repay you.
Well, you know where I work.
I do. Well,
I would say next time during the daytime would be far better.
Oh yes. No, I'm gonna come bother you at 2 a.m, for a custom fitting.
Well, I do have some customers that occasionally have late nights, but usually I plan those out ahead of time.
Right. Well, I will do what I can to not bother you at nighttime.
It's
next
fine.
time.
Your name was Martin.
Martin MacCalister.
Yes. It was very nice to meet you, Martin.
It was very nice to meet you as well, Elijah. Oh. So, game mechanic thing.
Mm-hmm.
Does that take any of my stress away, even though it's my vice, but not from my vice purveyor?
I will allow it this time.
What if it is, it is. If it's not, it's not.
Generally, you're usually supposed to go to your vice purveyor.
Okay.
Specifically,
Well,
I will let you roll though, because as I said, still learning and things like that, and I know that you're very, very high on stress, and so being able to, because you're attempting to the best of your ability to try and indulge your vice, right?
I am. Yeah.
So I'm fine with you doing your vice roll as it would be.
I got a 6 and a 6.
Okay, so the way that works is you clear a number of stress equal to the die roll. And so because you rolled over the amount of stress you had, you are considered to have overindulged. Basically, you reached when you shouldn't have, right? And so there's a number of things that can happen because of that.
Getting into the scary mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
And that does not do anything to my harm level, correct?
No, it simply clears your stress, and it causes a sort of consequence when you overindulge. If you had rolled a
Right.
4 or a 3 or something lower than your stress or equal to it, it would have just cleared your stress. But because you rolled higher
Right.
than your the stress you had on your character, you overindulged. You like went too far, right?
Right.
And I'm going to say that the overindulging isn't like you're not freaking out inside Elijah's place. It's just a simple matter of because of the time that you chose to indulge this vice, a complication or consequence could end up happening, such as you guys were noticed on your way here or something of that variety, right? Okay.
Oh, is it something I just get to choose, or
No,
are
no,
there
it's something I
specific
choose.
ones?
It's something I
Okay.
choose. So
Okay.
I was just explaining how it worked for both the players, again, to sort of repeat things we had gone over in the past, and to also describe to the audience what it was I was specifically talking about, so they're familiar with sort of the game mechanics as they affect certain things in the game.
Right.
Okay, so at that point, I presume you all leave Mr. Penn's place of work.
Mr. Penn's
basically.
place. Yep.
Yes. Okay. So the 4 of you leave, finishing your tea, having bits of snacks. He thanks you all, shakes your hands, etc., and then says goodnight.
As we leave,
Mhm.
I kind of look to Elijah, and it's like, this isn't for the rest of them. This is just for me, but I owe you one. And before he leaves.
Ezra tips his bowlers, like, thank you for the. I'm sorry, once again, apologize for the inconvenience. Good night.
Good night. Say good night, Benton. And you hear a voice on this. Good night.
Okay. So where to? Oh, the Ashen Wharf, right?
Ashland Wharf.
Ashland Wharf. So I believe we start making our way toward the Ashen Wharf. Ashland Wharf.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. And we start looking for this Eldwin person. We were given a description of him, yes?
Not per se. He is a chemist. Some of the individuals he works with individuals in the industrial sector of the city, and he frequents Ashland Wharf. Other than that, I don't suppose he would go under a pseudonym or an alias, but maybe if he suspected we were coming.
Well, if he's wrapped up in something where he needs to get got, I'm willing to bet he changed his name.
Well, I do not. I think that he does not. He has underestimated Mr. Brill, because he is. We are going to negotiate, either forcefully or otherwise, for him to come back into Mr. Brill's service.
All right, then. So we make our way to the Ashland Wharf.
Okay. So you're heading through town until you eventually find yourself at Silk Shore. Silk Shore is, for the audience and the players, is known as basically the Red Lamp District. It is a place of vice. It is a place of pleasure houses. It is where there's a vast park beset in through a portion of it. Think of like Central Park in New York. It is the largest natural space in the entire city of Duskfall. There is sort of a circus there. and festivals that take place in the park. It's also a place that's known for the gliders, which are a specific troupe of individuals that basically fly in gliders high in the air with bits of metal hanging from them, so that the lightning barrier itself will shoot down lightning and electricity surges into the gliders as they're flying, creating like this pyrotechnic display. It is a city, it is a space and district of food. Think of Las Vegas in an 1800s Duskfall, but it has a vibe of very much like Venice. It is a place, it is right next to the ocean, or beset by the ocean on one side. There's a vast amount of canals running through it. So, especially in the northern area of the district, the easiest way to travel amongst it is by gondola. There's less cabbies and things of that variety, and more gondoliers who travel people through the areas in district. You find yourselves traveling through the northern part until you eventually arrive at the Ashland Wharf. Speaking, of course, to a gondolier, paying him the simple sum, you mention the name, and off you go. You find yourselves traveling through a canalway until you eventually come underneath a bridge with buildings beset on either side of you, reaching high into the sky, basically casting shadow from the electric lights that are placed on the streets above and the narrow pathways that connect all of these different places. You see other gondolas moving, lovers basically in the night, people partying. There are people like yelling and excitement, drinking. You can see them up above at different sort of like taverns and things like that, spilling out and spilling in. And you eventually come underneath a walkway with marble, beautiful white marble on either side, and then there is a stairway that descends down into the water, basically steps down into the water to where the waterway actually comes up towards the stairs. The gondolier glides over to it and then stops, letting you out.
All right. Thank you very much. Tip of the hat. Okay.
The gondolier doesn't, real quick, the gondolier doesn't, nods to all of you, but at one point, specifically for Ezra, there's a specific moment where as you're all leaving, the gondolier looks at you, Ezra, makes eye contact, and then nods to you.
Tip the bowler. Kind of put it a little lower on his head.
Mm-hmm.
And, he'll take out the cotton from his ears now.
Mm-hmm. So we'll say, did you have something more to add, Blinder?
No.
Okay. We'll say that basically that interaction happens as Martin steps off and starts talking. So feel free to continue with the RP. I'm sorry I cut you off there, Martin.
No, that's fine. I was going to say, this is the part where I just stand in the back and look menacing. So, because you're saying that you want to have a peaceful interaction with this person, it's always good to have a big stick.
The gondolier, by the way, has gone gliding off as you all stepped basically from the gondola into like the first step, which is slightly underwater, but not enough to actually go over the top of your boots. And then you step up the stairs until you eventually reach like a flat area of dryness of this like beautiful marble stairway into the side of this large wall, basically.
Oh man, I wanted him to hear me make my big stick comment.
Oh, I mean, he's still close by. The gondolas don't move super fast. He's just slowly gliding away as you guys are talking.
I believe that's up to Miss Reaper how we proceed. I don't know who is. I'm unqualified for this sort of thing. This is all very new to me, I understand.
Where is this place?
Right over there.
All right, let's go. And I'll start walking that way.
There's only one path. You guys are basically on it, like I said, a platform leading to a single doorway beset by water on either side. As though it's sort of a special entrance, there's that sort of vibe. You know how like different big casinos in Vegas will have those like very special entrances that try to make it feel like grand and whatever the case may be. And it seems like this is that sort of way. Like it's simple, but it's marble. And as you approach, you realize there's these sort of red velvet curtains that have been drawn down. And as you part them and then step into what seems like a sort of lobby area, it starts to open up. There's a person set behind what looks like a sort of pedestal of sorts, like they're keeping book notes. There's large curtains set on either side, and you can hear some music back behind it, some sort of band music. Think of like the not necessarily the modern music you might hear in the Moulin Rouge, but sort of that old style band that you would hear in this era and in this time period. You hear laughing and there are cheers being shouted. There seems to be a woman singing inside. It sounds like there's quite a few people inside. But the person is just sitting there writing into the book and then looks up at you over spectacles on their nose. And can I help you?
Yes, I'm looking, well, myself and my compatriots are looking for a good time.
Well, you've come to the right place. Do you have any jackets or coats you'd like me to take?
Yes, please.
A man comes walking up basically from sort of behind an edge. He steps out, a large man, dressed very, very nice, but you can tell that he's probably not the sort of person that would normally dress this way. There's tattoos sort of hidden under his clothes. He comes walking up, offering his hands, taking your rain jackets and then your coats if you want to give up your coats, or keeping your coats on.
I'll keep my coat on.
Okay. You offer up your trench coat though, or you're keeping your trench coat on?
No, I'm keeping my trench coat on.
Okay, that's what I was trying to understand. And then Martin?
I mean, are we going to leave quickly?
No.
Hands him the jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Checks the jacket, the trench coat, and the actual coat.
Yes, I presume you have like a raincoat over the top of your blazer.
Yeah.
And then takes it, folds it, sets it on a hanger, basically reaching out of sight into what seems like some sort of hanging area.
Blinder double checks to make sure that his what he received from Mr. Brill is in his vest pocket, not his jacket pocket. So he pats down his jacket.
Okay, so he checks his pockets. Okay.
And then he'll hand over his coat.
Mm.
And but he'll keep his hat on.
Okay. And then Carver.
Carver doesn't have anything to check in?
Oh, okay. So after that, they hang him up. They motion you on through the curtain. The large man walks over, holding the curtain back for you, and you enter into what seems like a large hall with a woman standing in the center on like a stage singing. She's dressed in a very, very fine dress. There are men and women in wearing suits with, bowlers and top hats and all sorts of things. The sort of people that you see here don't seem like a huge mixture of like those of like the working class. It seems like this is sort of the upper echelon of the working class, so like foremen and bosses and things of that nature, people who actually dress nice and don't actually work in the factories or those sorts of things, but are sort of the managers. And then you see what looks like potentially, based on the way that they're dressed, sort of lesser noble families, not the really, really big named ones, but the sort of lesser nobles or relatives of those noble families. So they're all wearing very, very nice suits. They're sort of dressed to the nines. They're laughing and having a good time, though a lot of their collars are undone, cufflinks taken out, put in pockets, or whatever the case may be. There's a plume of smoke in the air from cigars. Just a thick, like you're walking through a cloud almost. People are passing drinks, like there are waiters and waitresses walking by and serving food and drinks and all sorts of things.
Okay, so we can do this one of several ways. We can split up and question individuals individually, Or we can ask somebody as a group. I think that would be more intimidating.
I mean, not for me in particular.
No, for the person being questioned.
Oh, so we're not supposed to intimidate people here?
Not if we're going to get
This
information.
is a pleasure
out of
house.
them.
Why would intimidation be a factor?
Intimidation's always a factor.
You have some very interesting kinks.
Huh?
Pleasure house. Intimidation's always a factor, you said. So you must have some very interesting kinks.
Do you
Is
need
this
to be
appropriate
intimidated?
conversation?
Do you need to be
We're
intimidated?
in a pleasure house.
We're at
What is considered inappropriate conversation?
I believe.
Meh. It's something I'll learn. It's something I'll figure out later.
I really want to know, Mr. Martin, do you have to be intimidated to have pleasure?
Anybody that tries
I don't want to
intimidate
know, and I'll
me-
walk off.
Anybody who tries to intimidate me winds up missing teeth.
Oh,
So as you've all sat there talking for a moment and taking in the landscape a little more, you notice that around that big stage area is sort of like there are what seem like bar seats, kind of. But along the outer area, there's all the booths are set privately against the wall, and it seems like people are sitting in those booths. There seems to be drawn curtains, like that can be drawn for more privacy. It seems like there's actually an upper level as you look up, be set by lights coming down. There are electric lights surrounding the stage, as well as electric lights along the wall and in an upper level, and there seems to be also sort of like VIP sections up above with areas that people are sitting and watching the show down below or interacting. And there's you can see in the back area that seems like there's a kitchen, there's a stairway leading up, as well as an actual public stairway for people that seems much grander and nicer. That is a large stairway that comes down on one side and then L's its way up to this sort of section up above.
Does the room seem to have a back entrance or lead into like a kitchen area or some
Yes, there's
area
a
that-
a door far on the other side that seems like it leads into sort of a kitchen area. That you can
blank.
see the door behind it a little bit, and there's like a curtain there, and then several feet of distance, but you can sort of see it occasionally as waiters go in and out. There's a moment of light from what seems like the kitchen, and then you hear like, the sort of noises of kitchen, and then the door closes and you don't hear it any longer.
I suggest I will not be very good at intimidating nor I will sit over there and watch the entrances in case our Corey tries to escape. That's all good with you.
I mean,
It's assuming
Yeah.
that they're even here.
well, hey, why don't you stay here near the door, and if anybody looks like they're leaving in a hurry, track where they go.
If you see him, if you do find him, please point him out to me, so I do. Also,
Okay.
and Blinder will take a seat somewhere next to a booth.
Okay. In one of the private, like the booths set off to the sides.
Kind of in the main area. He'll kind of look like he's a little awkward, watching people and order a drink,
Okay.
or something.
What is everyone else doing? Reaper?
I'm going to keep an eye on who seems to be available out of the people, like the employees that are there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to see who seems to be most approachable, who's interacting with the most people, but isn't otherwise spoken for, as it were.
Oh, okay. You're talking about like basically like entertainers, dancers, things like that. Sure. There are dancers of all varieties that are seeming to be entertaining guests, both in like, they walk over to a private section and close the thing behind them, and you hear like hooting and laughing and that sort of thing. They seem to be all over the place, and as you eventually start to find yourselves, you see one of these presumably like hosts. comes walking up to the group, which is no longer including Blinder and Carver, and is now what I presume is just Martin and Reaper.
Sure.
Okay. They walk
I'll
up to you. Oh, go ahead.
I'll be the big stick.
How are
Oh,
you?
I'm well. Welcome to the Ashland Wharf. Can we get you anything? Would you like a private booth? Are you looking for a place at the bar?
I'm looking for a private booth, I think.
Oh, of
for
course. We have
myself and my
several
companion.
available.
All right. Which one do you recommend?
I mean, all of them are very good. Based on the way of our seating, you can all see the show. And our entertainers, of course, keep in mind that we have viewers on all sides, so they're constantly making sure to rotate to engage those viewers. And sometimes, as you've noticed here, we have quite a bit of distance around the center stage area and our outer booths, and that's so that the entertainers can actually move through the space, as well as guests can more freely move, etc.
She'll point to one near her. I'll take this one.
Oh, of course, sure. And they come over and guide you to the table, and you sit down, and they're like, do you have any, would you like a menu?
Please.
Oh, of course. And then I will be back with that. Would you like anything to drink in the meantime? Perhaps a hot drink of some type? Tea? We also have a special Eruvian beverage. It is it gives you a little bit of zip, if you know what I mean.
I'll take that.
Oh, of course. Anything for you, sir?
Oh, I don't know. Just a nice beer. Keep them coming.
Sure. Can I
Thank
ask,
you.
and I don't want to be forward, is this a special occasion the two of you are celebrating?
It's let's
New
call it
beginnings.
a reunion.
A reunion? I see. So old friends then, not like a couple or a married couple or anything like that?
Right.
Oh, I see. Sorry. Sometimes we have couples who come in here for anniversaries and want to, play card games and have entertainers around them, etc. So I was just making sure. Of course. Well, I'll bring some drinks. Did you want anything, sir? Any
Just
food
thinking
or
of me.
anything? Hmm?
Oh no, I'm good.
Okay. So you're just fine. Okay, fine then.
Yeah, like I said, just beer, couple of beers, keep it coming.
Okay, sure. And then they go walking off.
Okay, so am I just holding a table down while you walk away? Go do your thing. Unless you can dance like one of them.
Well, I could, but that's not the point. That was going to be my next move. But I think what we're going to do is we're going to bring in one of the entertainers, and we're going to pay her to entertain us with her stories. And if we don't get information out of her, then we'll move to the next one.
Wait, we get to be in a pleasure house for hours while we're working?
It's a job. If you want her
That's
to give you...
amazeballs! I've always wanted to work in a strip club, but not as a stripper.
Fair. And I mean, you can get a little bit of pleasure while you're at it. That's your place, but please do it in another booth.
Oh, but this is such a sweet reunion. We used to do this all the time.
You're gross.
So eventually the waiter returns and passes you both menus, sets down the drink for Reaper and the beers for Martin, and then says, I'll give you a few minutes to look over the menu. Should you need anything in the meantime? A little entertainment, perhaps, or something of that?
Yes, please.
Are you looking for like a card dealer of some variety, or perhaps a dancer?
I'll let my friend here choose.
Oh. Why don't we start with a card dealer?
Okay. Of course, it's just like any casino. You're able to engage in private games, a game of your choice, and you'll be playing against the house if you choose. You can invite other guests if you wish to engage in your game, or keep it private between yourselves and the house, and they should be over shortly.
All right.
So the waiter goes off and talks to a few people.
I figure card dealer's a good one to be here. They're really good at reading people, knowing faces. At least every time I try to cheat, they are.
That's fair.
It is.
So we'll move to Carver, who went walking off. Where's Carver heading?
Carver's heading immediately to wherever there is a gathering of dancers who just
Okay.
look unoccupied.
Well, most of them seem to be. Anytime they seem unoccupied, it seems like someone is immediately like, "Oh, go over there. Oh, do this thing, right?" So it doesn't seem like while they're here in the main floor that they're ever not engaging with someone or trying to talk to someone or something of that variety. You notice though that a few of the dancers walk in through a back curtain, not the kitchen area, but a different, separate area of the room through a back curtain, and then you'll see new dancers come out, that sort of thing.
Hang out over by the back curtain.
Okay. Are you looking at it for anything specific while you're back there, or just kind of seeing who's coming and going, or?
Kind of seeing who's coming and going.
Okay. Someone will eventually come up to you and be like, "Hello, sir. Can I help you with something this evening?"
Well, I sure hope so.
Oh, of course. Would you like a menu for some beverages or food?
I'm quite all right on that. I was looking for other libations.
I see. What is your entertainment preference, sir? Perhaps some music or a dancer of some variety?
I was thinking someone who knows how to move.
No, of course. We can have that. There are several choices. Do you have a specific interest in a style of dance?
I can't say that I do.
Are you an individual
But
that's looking for more of a private show? Perhaps, sir? He says, whispering in close to you.
I think I might. I was recommended this place by a friend. Again, I'm not really sure who he typically sees, but
Of course.
he had recommended this place highly.
Well, come with me. I'll introduce you to the madam, and she'll take you on your way. So he takes you back to that space, through it, walking you through, like basically holding the curtain open for you. And as you walk in, you see what looks like basically you go from this big, large room that's beset by the stage and booths and things with a very sort of restaurant feel, but at the same time, it has that. What is the actual term for it? It's not a strip club. It's the 1800s. What is that term?
Burlesque?
Burlesque, yes, that's more of the vibe you're getting from the space. It's not necessarily just people stripping off clothes. It's more like it's about the entertainment. But there is some, nudity for those who wish to have that sort of entertainment, especially privately. So it has more of a burlesque vibe to it, right? So you're taken into the back of this, the back, but you enter into what is actually more like a lounge, like an actual smoking room. There's not card tables, there's not private booths, there's just sort of like couches set in areas and big sort of like love seats set off to some types, and there are people in there like smoking, and you know that you definitely smell a little bit of opium of some variety, and there are dancers walking about, entertaining individuals, sitting on their laps and making small talk and chit chat, whispering in each other's ears. And in the very back of the room, sort of walking about and talking with people, you see a woman who seems to be probably in her mid-30s. Her hair is set back in a perfect, like, sort of classic ponytail, but she is wearing a suit. A very nice and cut business suit, tailor-made to them. It is a nice, like, light sort of gray suit with a white shirt that seems very nice. There's a sort of pinstripe aspect to it. They're wearing very, very nice dress shoes. They don't seem to be wearing any sort of hat, but they do have like cufflinks and with sort of like a bow tie, of sorts. And then you're eventually brought back and this is the madam.
Thank you for introducing us. My name is Carver. Pleasure to meet you.
Very nice to meet you. My name is Zelia Shea. Welcome to my establishment.
I had been recommended to come here for some time and finally made my way here.
Oh, wonderful.
Unfortunately, I seem to be slipping the name of the particular individual that I was recommended to see.
I see. You're looking for a specific dancer, I presume?
Yes, my
Someone-
friend visits quite frequently.
I see. What is your friend's name? Perhaps I know his name.
My friend is named Eldwin.
Eldwin's a common name.
Is it now?
Oh, yes.
Edwin Morville, then.
Can't say that I recognize the name.
Seems strange that someone who visits here so frequently wouldn't be recognized by the very madam of the establishment.
Perhaps he stays mostly in the other section of the business.
Perhaps.
I don't frequent the stage room.
However, he did speak highly of this place, so...
Well, I'm glad. When was it that you last saw your friend, Eldwin?
Some weeks ago, we were working together for an individual. This individual happens to be very shady.
I see. What's the individual's name, if I could ask?
Well, you might know him. His name is Brill.
Brill. I have heard the name, yes.
Unlike me, the Mr. Eldwin was lucky enough to get out.
Oh, of course, of course. Well, let's see if I can help you find the dancer your friend frequented. Why don't we have a look around?
Very well.
Go ahead.
Take your lead.
Okay. And from there, we will move over to Blinder. What is Blinder doing?
Blinder sits in this chair, very awkwardly. Do I smell? I know there's a smoking room, but do I smell anybody smoking? Anything more other than tobacco?
You can smell it faintly on the air.
Okay, that's what I figured. Blinder is sitting there just observing, looking at people, very much attentive to what he's supposed to be doing. Who hears noticing or looking or turning their head towards Martin's way, because Martin's very big dude, or that sort of thing. And then slowly he catches a whiff, and then his leg begins to jitter, and as time goes on, he's starting to sweat a little. He orders another drink very nervously. He says, "Excuse me, could I have another whatever this is?"
Of course, sir. Of course. And then
and he's sitting there just trying to get through.
I'm going to call for a resolve challenge to resist the urge to indulge.
Okay.
You were given the drug by Brill. You still haven't taken it, from what I understand. And you can smell it in the air. So this is going to be your resolve attribute.
Love is in the air.
2 dice, 6 and a 3.
Okay, so you full succeed. I will say in this instance that you are able to control yourself and resist the urge to just go following the smell wherever it might be.
Just for clarification, was that wasn't a desperate position or anything like that? It was a resistance test.
It was a resistance test, yes.
Gotcha. Never mind. Okay. He just
Think of it like
continues to-
willpower from other
Yeah.
games we've played. Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah.
like that.
So he just continues to. He's being very attentive. Is there a clock in the room? I don't imagine there would be.
No, it's very much
Yeah.
like casinos in Vegas. They try to like keep you abstracted from the how much time is passing so that they keep you inside spending money and gambling and drinking and having a good time.
We'll say that he continually is looking over at this person next to him doing something. A man
wait.
wearing a suit jacket, and just asks, "Excuse me, what time is it?" Because he notices he has a pocket watch or something.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Like-
it is 1 a.m, sir. Or
It's like-
2. I'm unsure. I think it was 1 last I checked. It might be 2 now. I haven't heard the bell chime in a while.
And then about 15 minutes later, he'll probably ask again, and that's how he gets by.
Just a quick clarification so that you understand how the resistance roll works, right? Just a bit more. You rolled a 6, so it didn't matter. So what happens is when I call for a resistance roll, you basically are taking stress to resist some urge, something happening to you. And when you roll, whatever you roll is actually you resisting taking the stress, basically. So you would normally take 6, but because you rolled a 6, you resisted and didn't lose any stress. But if you had rolled like a 5 or a 4, you would have taken 2, you would have lost 2 stress, basically trying to resist the urge giving in to your vice. Yeah.
Okay.
Just as a so everyone sort of understands what I'm talking about when I ask for those resistance rolls in the future. Reaper and Martin, who have decided to order some drinks and have asked for a card dealer to come over. Eventually, the card dealer finds their way there. They're dressed in a nice white shirt with a vest, very nice slacks and shoes. They come over with a deck of cards. They set them down. They say you're welcome to check through them. Basically opening up the deck for you. They bring over basically a tray of chips. And ask how much you would like to buy from the house, so that you're actually betting money if you wish to.
I'll I'll take a coin's worth.
Okay. And it sets you out, a pile, basically, because a coin is think of a big bag of silver. So basically sets you out this pile of coins there. And then to Reaper.
I'll take a coin as well.
Okay. And then the same thing. At that point, they take your money. They set it basically on the tray is sort of a lockbox. They set the money into the lockbox. They motion over to a person who you saw standing off to the side, basically like guards, comes walking over, picks up the lockbox and goes and walks it off, basically. And then they ask you what your game which game would you favor, is basically what they ask. Think of the games as similar to our sort of card games. They've got 21. It's blackjack, basically. They've got, poker, Texas Hold'em, whatever the case may be. Whichever game you're both choosing that you want to indulge in. Of course,
How
they
about
probably use
blackjack?
different names. Go ahead.
How about blackjack?
Okay.
Check works.
Perfect. And so they will set out the cards, as they do in blackjack, and start. Let you check your cards. I'm going to say Reaper's cards are a low card and a high card. So you've got a 2 and then a 10. The 10 is shown, the 2 is hidden, right? Because now they do it, they one face down, one face up, yeah. And then for Martin, he has a high card and another highish card. He's got a total of 17, basically. So
Ooh.
the house shows their cards, and they have a 1 and a 5.
Hmm.
So an ace.
Oh yeah, because a 1 could either be a 1 or an 11.
Right.
Oh no, so then a 2 then. Sorry, a 2.
I'm sorry, that was a 2 and a what?
A 2 and a 5.
I like it, but both seems like both Reaper and I are trying to count cards.
Sure.
I was actually going to ask if there was a mechanical way of cheating.
If you wanted to, sure.
I mean, I'll wait for now.
You do
No,
have
I'm gonna...
gear that you hadn't selected. If your character, your playbook, has some sort of something that would fit, I would say that you could have brought an extra set of cards or something, and you could try to palm in the perfect card to score high or something.
Not yet, but subterfuge supplies are a thing.
Yeah, exactly. So subterfuge supplies would make sense. Basically, like you could bring in another because you've got an extra set of cards or something like that.
Sure.
If you wanted to say.
Sure, I'll mark off my subterfuge supplies.
Okay, sure.
And I will attempt to... Let's see. No, that would still be a finesse roll, I imagine.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh boy, I don't have any in that, so I'd get my one, or I'm at disadvantage right now because I roll too big, roll the lowest one.
Yeah, or you could spend 2 stress in order to gain a dice, or you could take a devil's bargain.
Could I do both?
No, it's one or the other.
Oh no, yeah, because it says push yourself or accept a devil's bargain.
Yeah, it says push yourself or accept a devil's bargain. Yeah.
You know what?
Spoon is shaking his head like doesn't like it. You know what? Sure,
it's on the
there's nothing that says
character sheet.
Yeah, sure, but there's nothing that says that we can't, in fact, create our own sort of house rules. So we could say if people want to, you could push yourself, and you could take a devil's bargain if you wanted to.
Point of order.
Oh, sure, go ahead, Spoon.
You don't have to push yourself. You can gain 1 day for assistance. If you're being assisted.
Oh, sure. If Reaper wanted to assist you, Reaper could spend 1 stress and give you a dice as well.
True.
I don't know that Reaper would know what you're doing.
Oh, that's fair. Because you're all still a very new crew, so you haven't really worked together in these ways.
Let's see here. You know what? There is an item here called documents. Or actually, I would like to call for a flashback.
Okay. What would you like to do?
Flashback being that I've been to houses, sin houses, vice houses. I know that cards and dealers can be had there.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I have this marked, this extra deck of cards.
Yeah.
So before we even get into Silkshore and on the gondola, we had a conversation that she knows that I'm going to try and cheat at cards, because if I become a bull in a china shop, it's kind of expected. It's me. And then it gives her the chance to throw me out of the place if necessary to make her look good, so she can stay there and be in their better graces.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
So quick thing for the audience. I mean, that seems pretty straightforward, but just so you know, this game has an awesome mechanic that's called flashbacks. And basically what that does is that rather than like you see in some other games where your characters might have to try and plan for every eventuality based on what the storyteller, game master, dungeon master might throw at them, this game has an excellent mechanic that's called flashbacks, in which players can basically spend some of their stress, which is the sort of the energy source that they have to do actions, use their powers, etc., to basically say that they had planned for this. Think of like the movies like Ocean's 11, where you see them doing something and then all of a sudden you see them flashback and they had planned for this eventuality. That's exactly what it's like. So Martin, at some point, I'm going to say that it costs 1 stress just because of the complexity of the action.
That's fine.
It costs 1 stress. Martin, basically, as he said, had at one point taken Reaper aside, and we'll say maybe he gave her a signal or something, and he said, I'm going to do the bull in the china shop thing. And so when I give you the signal, you're going to know that I'm going to try and do something here and just go with it. basically, right?
Basically.
Yeah, okay, perfect, yeah. So we'll say it's 1 stress.
Awesome.
And that happens. So you're good to go. And just a quick thing for the audience so that everybody knows, just in case they're like, well, wait, that seems ridiculous. Flashbacks have the one specific rule, which is nothing that's already been established in the fiction can be changed. So Martin couldn't have said that he had done something that's already been established. Like he didn't already rob the entire house or something, because we've already established that he just came here for the first time or something like that. He couldn't have said, oh, I killed a person, if that person's obviously here in person. So just so the audience knows that there are some rules regarding flashbacks, but otherwise, as long as it is something new added to the fiction, you're good to go. So yeah, back to the scene.
Okay.
So Martin gives the signal.
Yeah, Martin gives the signal.
Okay.
So that is 1. So that brings me up to 1 die for the flashback.
Well, you spend 1 stress to activate the flashback. Is what I determined was the cost.
Right.
And then now that allows you to say that Reaper, because it's basically been a plan ahead of time, can now spend a stress to assist you because they're in on the plan, right? They know what's going on.
So does Reaper assist? Okay. So that takes me up to 1 die. I would like to accept a devil's bargain.
Sure.
I blatantly get caught cheating, and people come to get me and throw my ass out.
Okay.
Well, actually, no, that's not. That's connected to the base roll.
I would like to have a flashback scene as well.
Okay. Well, what is it that you're hoping to accomplish?
I would have had a prior discussion to not get himself thrown out, because that's going to make me look bad, and they're not going to be willing to share information at all.
Okay, well, we've already established in the fiction now, like I said, that he said he's going to try and get himself thrown out. So that is something he's going to do.
Okay, never mind then.
But you don't even have to do a flashback. You could just, in the current RP, you could be like, no, don't do it, without even needing a flashback. It might make the dealer be like, what are you guys talking about? But like I said, because he's already established in the flashback that, oh, by the way, I'm going to do this thing and try to get thrown out or something, that's something that's already taken place now. So we can't change that, but what you can do is you can immediately now in the fiction, you could be like, hey, don't do it. No, this is a bad idea. Maybe not, that sort of thing. So yeah.
So I'm going to look over at him. Martin?
Huh?
You should not travel north soon.
Oh, I'm not a duck. Oh, right. Yeah, I'll stay.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably should.
Okay.
And well, no, I mean I'll stay on the cards.
Of course, sir. They say.
Yeah.
And don't worry, you don't have to spend, you won't take the devil's bargain or anything like that. And feel free that because we're changing the fiction there where you're not actually doing the challenge Reaper, you don't have to spend that stress.
Oh,
but
okay, yeah,
there is still a stress spent on Martin's case that there is a secret code basically that they've established. So if Martin has to use that in the future, that's still there.
Wait.
Okay.
All right, hit me.
Okay. You are hit with a 4.
Yay, 21.
And then the dealer hits and gets a 2. And then high card's out.
Sweet.
The house loses. And then you basically, yeah, that's fine.
It was 16, not 21. Sorry.
Well, the house still broke out.
Yeah. Mine was 17 and I stayed.
Yeah. So you guys basically both get, what is it? You get half of what you put in when you beat the house, and then when you get 21, you get double your money, if I remember right.
Yeah.
So you get your money in half rather than double your money. So they basically pay back you in chips, right? Yeah. And so at that point, the dealer's like, oh, wonderful. Hopefully that luck continues. And with that, I'm going to move over to Carver very quickly. So Carver goes walking off with Zelia, and they go walking through a section of the smoking lounge. Zelia takes them through these wide open doors into a large room beset by couches and things of that nature. And as they walk in, you can see on the far end of the room there seems to be like a desk set there, like almost like a place of business. There's written parchments and things rolled up, set neatly in piles and on shelves behind them. There is an old man that seems to be sitting there, bespectacled and simply dressed, and he seems to be going over numbers. And as you look around, you realize there doesn't seem to be any customers in here, except for there are dancers. And then as Zelia and you come walking in, Zelia motions like this, and the dancers get up and walk out. The man writing on papers, etc., also gets up and walks out a back door. And then as they all funnel out of the space, the doors are shut, and it's just you and Zelia inside the space.
Hmm.
There's a moment of silence where Zelia doesn't talk and you're not talking. Zelia goes walking around the desk, sits down in the chair, motions to you for a chair in front of the desk.
Without saying a word, I'll sit down in the chair.
A few moments later, before Zelia even speaks, as they're moving parchments around on their desk for a second in silence, there's a rap on the door. And then it opens, and two large men walk in, shutting the door behind themselves. So let's talk about your friend.
Okay. I assume that you're the one with the questions this time.
You work for Brill.
I do.
So Brill sent you to come here snoop around my place?
No, Brill sent me to find my friend.
If you're
The fact that he frequents here is the only reason I am here.
I told Brill not to send any more people here. So the fact that he sent you speaks very low of his opinions of you.
Well, I do owe him a debt.
Does that debt include you coming to harm because of his bad business deals?
I wouldn't put it past him to send me into the lion's den.
I wouldn't call it the lion's den. I'm just not sure that I see eye to eye with your sentiment of calling Brill your employer and friend, necessarily.
For one, I never said that Brill was my friend.
I guess I misunderstood. You're saying that you're friends with Eldwin, and that Brill is simply just hiring you to come find a dear friend of yours? That seems strange. Why would you need to get paid to find a friend of yours?
Think of us more as associates.
I see. Business friends.
But he does hold the key to keeping someone important to me alive.
Did Brill take someone?
No.
Did Brill not tell you why he's looking for Eldwin?
Brill doesn't really keep me in the loop. these little tasks are just a way for me to pay off my debt.
Oh, I see. He has his hooks in you then. Why do you owe him a debt?
Misery.
A junkie then?
You could say that.
How about this? I don't know how loyal you are to Brill. But for a price, I'll tell you where I heard he might be.
And what would this price be?
Let's just call it a favor. Eldwin has something I want. And you're going to give it to me when you find him.
And this thing would be?
A recipe.
So you and Brill aren't necessarily enemies, you're competitors.
You could say that, yes. Another knock breaks the silence for a moment, and the man that you recognize as the door guard comes walking in. Did you see this man enter by himself? Zelia says to him. No, ma'am. He was with 3 other individuals. Could you find them for me, please? I presume they're part of your team? Also employees of Brill?
No, they're part of the reason why I'm on this task.
So should I not have them fetched for you?
We could let them enjoy themselves a little bit longer.
Sure. Are you their leader? Do they follow you?
No.
I see. Is there a leader amongst you?
That would imply that we're a team.
Well, you came in together. Presumably you all work for Brill. Is this sort of a mismatch individuals that have been hired to work together to find dear Eldwin?
They're accompanying me on completely separate business.
It's fine. Do they even know why you're here then?
They do.
Well, to include them or not is your decision, I guess, at this point. As you clearly say, you don't have some sort of leader or someone who should be speaking for you. So I'll presume, at least for the moment, that that's you. If you return the recipe that Eldwin has to me, I will make it worth your while. I can make you this promise. Whatever you paid or are supposed to pay to Brill, I would pay off that debt.
And would this have negative repercussion with Brill?
Oh, I presume so. But that's a decision you'll have to make. I mean, if you want to go back to your employer and ask him how he feels about this specific deal, that's your decision. I don't know what he hired you to do. If you were supposed to find Eldwin, find the recipe, or both.
He just told me to bring Eldwin back. He didn't say anything about a recipe.
Perhaps he wants Eldwin for another reason, then, shall we presume?
I'll take your deal.
A smart man. She stands up, reaches over, shakes your hand, and says, "Feel free to have a few drinks. Food is on the house. For you and your friends."
Appreciate it.
Oh, and if you indulge in games of chance, the house will provide you with a staple that you can bet. Of course, once you've reached that point, if you've lost all your money, then, it'll be up to you to spend your personal funds. You don't seem like a man who gambles too much, though.
Only when it matters. So, you have information about Eldwin?
Yes. I know some names of his dear friends. Pay the right people for these names.
I don't imagine that you're going to divulge the names, but you could point me in the right direction.
I'll be clear. If you're agreeing to this deal, then I'll give you the information. If you double-cross me, then I'll come after you. It's simple as that.
I understand the terms.
Of course. Let me check. And she reaches over and pulls up a few papers and things. Yes. A dear friend of his, by the name of Vern Gray, who's a foreman at a Coleridge factory. That's someone he used to spend a great deal of time with. Perhaps he's seen or heard from him. Mr. Cliff Nisbet, an engineer. They apparently went to school together or something. I think that's also a personal friend of his. And then a client of his by the name of Otis Dwyn, restaurant purveyor. He provides some sort of something for, I don't know exactly what the nature of their deal is. The restaurant, though, is here in Silkshore. It's quite a nice little eatery. Very quaint.
And where would I find the engineer?
I presume Charter Hall. I believe he's a teacher there in the Sparkride schools or something.
All right.
The restaurant you're looking for is called the Boardwell, by the way.
So, if I find Eldwin, this recipe, is it something that he has on him, or does he just need to divulge it to you?
He'll know what I'm talking about, trust me.
And he will be perfectly intact, so that I can, of course, complete my objective with Brill?
I mean, if he gives you the recipe, simply write it down and send it to me. Or if you wish to have him show up here, he could write it down for me. Your choice. I don't care how you get it, I just want it. That's it.
Well, we have a deal, and I need to make good on my end.
Of course.
I will reach over, shake her hand again,
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of stand a few paces away from the person at the door,
Yeah,
and just kind of
they open
look
the door
for
for you.
permission.
And so we're going to stop you right there. We're going to quickly go back to Blinder. What has Blinder been doing?
Sweating.
Okay.
He's getting extremely nervous now. He could feel just an urge to do it, but like he's maintaining his resolve. So he's going to get up and attempt to get his mind off of what's been plaguing him for the last however long.
Mhm.
He's been bugging that guy like every 15 minutes. Like
Sure,
the guy
eventually the
probably
guy's just
moved.
like, dude, stop asking me, I don't know.
He'll get up and he'll go he sees Reaper and Martin playing,
Yeah, they're off at one of the
Cards.
booths on the far side playing
but he
cards, yeah.
doesn't see Carver.
He saw
So
Carver go walking by with someone off past the curtain, and
Okay.
then you saw him walk inside, start talking to someone, and then they disappeared out of sight.
He'll go marching right after Carver.
Okay, so he walks in, and now this is where the plume of opium is coming from, and it's just washing over him.
He'll look around for Carver.
You don't see him.
Oh. Just walk back out. And he'll sit there.
Before he walks out, someone stops him and says, "Excuse me, sir, are you doing okay?"
Oh, just a little too much to drink. A little hot in here,
Why don't you
think?
sit down?
Where's the bathroom?
It's that way. And he points the opposite direction of the door.
Thank you. Good day. Walks by.
Good day to you,
And he's taken his hat off.
Mhm.
And he goes into the bathroom
Mhm.
or the rest area.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like clutching it. And he puts it down next to the wash stand.
Mm-hmm.
And is he alone?
There doesn't seem to be anyone near the sinks.
Okay.
It seems like he's alone, yes. He kind of like peeks under the stalls, doesn't see anyone.
He reaches over to the pump and pumps a little bit of water.
There are actual sinks here, by the way.
Oh.
Like actual running sinks, and then you like push a thing and then water comes out of like a...
water comes out and you can wash it and then drain it.
Yeah.
Okay. So he starts doing that and splashes some water on his face, just to try to get the smell out. And
in that moment when he looks up into the mirror and he's like washing his face, he for a moment sees someone standing behind him, and it's like all of a sudden there, and then he blinks and it's gone. He starts to hear whispering.
Puts his hand on the mirror
Mm-hmm.
as just a gesture,
Mm-hmm.
and attempts to attune.
Sure.
He lets in the screams and looking for a name. Aldwin Morville.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to use a stress
Okay.
because I think it's appropriate.
Okay.
Position?
I'm gonna say he's desperate. He's desperate with standard effect because of the state that he's in, trying to resist his vice.
2 6s and a 2.
Oh, damn, that's a crit success, sir.
I know.
Crit master.
He reaches up and
Ta-da.
touches the mirror, and as he does so, there's this moment where, like, almost like the mirror itself starts reflecting light in this fragmented pattern that sort of breaks. The light starts splashing out from his hands like a wave, and everything starts to distort around him. The space that he's in, although it's perfect and pristine, starts to seem weathered and strange. There's dust in the air. There's this hue of energy pulsing through what seems like a reflection of the walls. Everything is empty and vacant here, and the energy is pulsing out from him. As you had said, the screams come rushing in. Silent whispers are now full-blown, like people standing around Ezra, almost like right in front of his face, just... He starts to hear a voice in the distance. Eldwin. Eldwin. And he hears steps moving beside him. He sees the door open, like a ghost. Not like the actual physical door, but like the semblance, like a visual, almost like a door appears and opens. Like he's seeing some sort of vision. It opens out of the bathroom.
He'll follow it.
Okay. He opens the door and he hears the steps now off down the hallway away from the direction he had come from.
Mm-hmm. He goes down the hallway, pushing his way past the vacant bodies, screaming and gnarling in his face, in his ears.
As he's moving past these rooms, some of the doors are cracked or open, and there's people engaging in various types of pleasure and etc. And as he like sort of glances, there's always this like resonance of like, it's not two people, perhaps it's like a vision, and there's someone sitting there weeping in the room and screaming. There's another one where a person is like laying on the floor bloodied, but there's still people engaging there. There's this sort of contrast of what is happening in this world of the living reflected back in what may have happened in history in the space. So he's seeing all of these horrors as he's stepping through the space, but he's also seeing that sort of side. Think of it like seeing the two worlds at once almost. The energy, though, is continuing to cascade down this hallway, and he's starting to see like footprints almost like appearing, like wisps of smoke that sort of come up like steam off of a hot stone. Just they appear and then disappear, and then he hears laughter down the hallway.
He locks onto the laughter, and he is now staggering, trying to accelerate his pace because he feels like he's being pulled down. The remnants of those who are alive are trying to pull at him because they recognize that he can hear them. And
they're like begging and pleading with him.
Yeah, he's desperately pushing past them, just trying to get to the source of the laughter.
He goes running or moving down the thing, opens the door that he heard it from. There's a vast staircase in front of him that seems to spiral down. He goes down the staircase, presumably, until he eventually comes into a large open space where no light is seeing, and he sees this pulse of energy emanating from some sort of device that seems to be radiating energy as well. There seems to be a glow to it, a hum to it. He sees all of these pieces and things like Sparkrite technology. Think of machines equivalent of those era, but also mixed with a strange new form of Sparkrite technology being used with like battery packs and things of that variety. I mean, it seems like a vast laboratory, and there are vials set out and all sorts of jars and things askew. And he hears the footsteps run around through the space to a door that he sees cracked open, and there's a light shining through the door. The footsteps lead right up to it.
He'll slowly approach it, now extremely cautious. He'll look around the room to see if he sees any windows, if he can see outside.
Seems like he's in some sort of deep basement. It's been carved into the very earth itself in order to keep the water out.
Okay, he'll examine the stone,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll try to absorb as much detail as he can,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll open the door where the light is. If he'll attempt to, I mean, if he can.
He opens the door,
Yeah.
and he sees what looks like a chamber room, like someone has been living here in a small space. It's not super big. It's like 15 feet by 15 feet. There's a bed set on one side. There's a bunch of bookshelves. There's papers and fragments set everywhere. And there seems to be a man laying in the bed, smoking a pipe, laying on his back, seemingly asleep.
He'll check the letters.
Mm-hmm. They seem like formulaic. Like they seem like they're like chemistry, like elements and things like that being combined in different ways.
Is there a post? Like, is there like these letter, like what you receive in the mail, or is there?
No, this all seems like it was written in hand. Like it's a vast collection of parchments and notebooks.
Like notes you would
Yes,
take.
yes, exactly.
Okay. He'll observe the room,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll try to get some better sense of where it might be,
Mm-hmm.
like all the little details that might lead him there, and then he'll snap out.
Okay. So he snaps out, and then he's moving through the space, and then he's standing now, and he feels his hand come off of the mirror. He's just like,
He'll throw up.
okay.
He's like, it's all over the floor. He'll try to avoid his
Mm-hmm.
clothes, but
Mm-hmm.
not very successfully. And then he'll get up and clean himself, wash the taste out,
Mm-hmm.
but leave a little bit of it. You'll be like,
Mm-hmm.
wait a minute, no, maybe I should keep this.
Mm-hmm.
This
He
may come in
tastes,
handy.
he tastes, because remember the thing that we talked about with your character's specific ability? I'm going to
Mhm.
say that this experience that you had is not something you've ever heard that other people can do. Usually when they're experiencing the ghost field, they're only experiencing it in their direct area. And so you taste blood in your mouth as though the ritual that you had learned had become activated, as though you paid the price, if you know what I mean. Like you feel that sense of you've paid a price to something in order to accomplish and see what you saw.
Grab his hat,
Mm-hmm.
clean himself up a little bit more, make sure he's like his teeth are okay.
Yeah, he's so like, can wash it out with water or whatever. Yeah.
Very well, okay. And he'll turn around and walk out of the hallway.
Okay. Which
Push
direction
past
is he
him, but
going?
he's
Is he
coming
going to where he saw the vision, or is he going to the left back to where he came from?
He's going straight down to the card table.
Okay, so he goes marching off. So at this point, we'll return to Reaper and Martin, who have been sitting there playing games with the dealer. And what sort of things would you have wanted to talk to the dealer about?
At some point, I'll drop Eldwin's name and watch for
Sure.
a reaction from the dealer.
Sure. The dealer's like, oh, yes, we've seen Eldwin quite often. He's a regular. He doesn't generally enjoy the games of chance. Usually he's in the back, in the parlor.
Oh. Well, I haven't to him in a long time, so I hope he's doing well.
Last I saw him, he seemed to be doing well, yes.
Maybe I'll check later on to see if he's there.
Of course. I mean, perhaps he is. He is a favorite dancer of sorts. Of course, private shows and things of that nature. But anyways, would you like to hit or stay?
What do I have at this point?
2 low cards. 5 and a 6.
Hit.
You get a 4.
And you had what did I originally have?
So you have a
That's
total
15.
of 15 right now.
Hit me again.
You get a 2.
Hit me again.
You get a 8. And
You busted.
bust
Boo.
out. And Martin?
He's really not saying a whole lot. He looks
Okay.
like he's trying to figure out how to play this game
Okay.
because it involves math.
Sure.
And, so what does he have?
Currently, he has a ace and a 4.
Hit me.
Another ace.
I mean, you're not actually, like, hitting me. What? You just...
It's a turn of phrase, friend.
Oh, all right. Very weird turn of phrase, because I would just reach over and punch somebody. Hit me.
A 5.
So 5, 10. Ooh. See, I have 12 now. Hit me again.
Oh, yeah, if you count the, yeah. And that is a 8.
I'll stay at 20.
Sure.
Can I get the 5 card? Can I get that 5 card?
The dealer has a 10 and a 4. And they stay.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, I got a 20, so I win.
Yeah. So you end up winning yours plus, what you put in plus half, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Was there any other questions you wanted to ask the dealer?
Oh, no, no.
Okay. So at this point, Blinder comes storming out. Well, not storming, but comes walking out, and then comes rushing up to your table in a sense. Presumably not, like, hurried, like he's not... Knowing Blinder, he's probably not trying to draw attention to himself, but that's up to you, Blinder. How
he's not cognizant of any sort of social decorum.
Oh, okay.
He's completely awkward in this place to begin with. So, like, now that he's walking fast,
mm-hmm. So then Blinder comes hurriedly rushing up to the table.
Look to the dealer. Watch your back.
Oh, pardon me. Another friend of yours?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's up?
He'll grab Miss Reaper's arm and sit kind of between Miss Reaper and Martin, and kind of in a lower toned voice, so the dealer may, I think I have. He's in a basement, in a basement somewhere, surrounded by water. The room is definitely underneath the water line. I know where I have a good sense of where he is. Can we hurry this along?
Where is Carver?
I don't know.
Carver at this point is walking out of this meeting with Zelia.
Oh, he's right over there. Look to the dealer. Am I up or even right now?
Oh, we just finished the hand, sir. You won.
Well, I understand. I'm not trying to get another hand. I'm seeing if I have any money coming to me or not.
You've been back and forth, basically.
Okay.
At one point, another person walks up to the dealer and has a conversation with them, and then they put a bunch of chips in front of you. Just randomly.
Okay.
I've been told the house is compensating you for a certain amount for you to enjoy yourselves this evening.
Oh.
They also bring, like, food and more drinks, basically, and just set them on the table for you.
Awesome. Kind of look down at my half-eaten plate of food.
Mm-hmm.
Takes a couple things he can carry in his hand. All right, let's go.
And
Carver!
You guys see Carver on the other side of the room, like
Carver!
walking. Unless he's going a different direction. I presume Carver's coming back out now?
I'll casually walk over their direction.
Okay.
This place is great. I like it here.
See, this is what happens when you speak nicely with the leads.
What did you tell him?
I don't know if he told him anything.
I told them exactly what they wanted to hear.
Okay, we're gonna
this
think
seems
about
like
this.
This seems like a private conversation. I'll have someone come back to cash you both out, and if you wish to continue playing, feel free to hold on to your chips. Just make sure to cash out before you leave, otherwise you won't receive your winnings.
All right.
Thank you so much for the
thank you.
games. And then they grab the thing and off they walk.
Okay, so
Well, I have information. What? What's wrong with you? Looking over at Blinder.
I had.
What is on your pants?
Oh, look, the drink doesn't sit well with me. I was in the bathroom.
Rose.
Are you okay?
I think I might have some information about as well.
right. How about we go cash out? We walk out, and we figure out where we're going.
All right.
Angela's muted right now, but they're talking.
Maybe we should talk about that before we go.
Okay. So, what do we know? Who knows what about where he's at?
Okay, let's start from the top. What all does this establishment know about us?
I assume you guys are closing the drape, which are thick
Yep.
curtains. Okay.
The Carver will reach over, close the drape.
Yeah.
Well, you see, this establishment is also seeking out Mr. Eldwin. For an object, I think. But they've offered their help in exchange for this object.
So how
So
how did the conversation go?
It started out more like an interrogation,
Why
but
were
I
you
think I worked it down to just a casual, scary business proposition.
Wait a minute. Why did they interrogate you? And what do you mean business proposition?
We're on a job already.
Now we're on two.
No, we're
Or
not
I'm
on
on
two.
two.
You're on two. What?
Yeah, that one's on you.
I'm fine with that. I made the deal. But I have the information.
So does Mr. Blinder. Did you have a job?
Excuse me?
Did you get a job in exchange for the information?
I did.
No, not you, Blinder.
No. I was deep in thought, and let's say how I acquired the information is not consequential. I don't owe anything, nor is there return services. But I did glean some decisive facts about the precise dwelling space of our quarry.
Okay, so what information did Carver get?
There are 3 people who might know where he is, or maybe harboring him. One is Vern Gray, works at the Coleman factory as a foreman. The other one is Cliff Nesbitt. He's an engineer in Charter Hall. And then there's Otis Dwen, a restaurateur at Silk Shore. Not too far from where we're at.
And Mr. Blinder, you said you know where he's at.
Some more. I don't know where he's at precisely, but I do. I think the information he's underground. He's in a basement of sorts. He has erected a lab there. It is of a particular size. alongside an adjoining bedroom or living quarters. It is underneath the water line. It is made out of any other details that I can use that might have caught my interest.
The
as
room
I
was very dark, but it seemed like the walls were white.
It's a white walls. Painted
Stone.
stone. Okay, was it
Marble.
particular marble stone? I don't know precisely when he was there, or if he's there now, or this could have been in the past. Maybe he was here. There are, I believe he would be closer to nearby, probably still within Red Lamp district, or anywhere there's ivory stone.
Looking or keeping in mind the map, Michael, which one of these 3 locations where he could be being harbored is the closest one to where we're at?
The restaurant. It's just up the street.
Okay, I think the first place that we should check is the restaurant, seeing as it's in the same neighborhood.
Okay. How are we supposed to get into a basement level? That's going to be where staff go mostly.
Well, are we willing to storm the castle, or do we want to attempt to sneak until we can't anymore, or do we want to pay our way in?
I mean, I'm all for just, busting a hole in a wall. But that's just me.
What do the rest of you think?
I don't think that we should storm any castles until we know exactly where he is.
I think perhaps a little bit of I believe if we go and talk to Mr. Dwen, I don't think we're going to learn very much. If they are harboring them, they'll undoubtedly lie for him. But I do believe if we make a effort to infiltrate, perhaps that would be not violence. But if there was resistance, of course we can handle it, or at least you can handle it.
More than likely. Unless they have guns. If there's like 2 or more guns in the fight, no.
Okay, we should go.
All right, let's go.
So you walk out of Ashland Wharf into the waiting sort of area. Think of it like a parking lot, but it's beset by water. And as you're sitting there waiting, there's a few gondolas on either side, basically waiting for people to come in or out. One of the people beforehand is like, "Oh, I'll call you a gondola," and then they ring a bell and it goes off, and there's you can see a line that rings off to a bell, and then it shakes and it's pretty loud. It's like ding 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 ding. So one of the gondola people know to. So as you're walking out, you see this gondola coming down this bridged canalway, and as you look, you see, because I'll just give this to you, it's not even a challenge, that white marble that Blinder sort of remembers be set around this building itself. And as you look off and see the other buildings, you see that they're old cobblestone or brick or other types of stone.
That right there. That is precisely like the stone I saw.
I have an idea. Why don't a couple of us pretend to be staff? If you grab something and walk with it, pretend you know where you're going, act like you know where you're going, and then the rest of you cause a distraction.
I'm down for the distraction.
Are you guys talking about going back into the Ashland Wharf? Just double checking.
Into the restaurant, yes.
This isn't at the restaurant. This is as you're leaving
Oh,
As
okay.
you're leaving the House of Pleasure, Blinder sees that, and he's like, it's just like this.
Oh, I see.
So, could he
is
be
he-
here?
Could he be under the water?
Hey,
Here?
Carver. While you were
Hmm.
back with the missus, do you see stairs or doors?
Do I remember seeing any stairs or doors?
There's hallways. Long hallways.
Follow me. And
Let me know when I need to be loud.
I'll follow.
I'll turn around and I'll
Blinder.
just walk in and I'll walk to the area where I found the where I had pulled back the curtain for the girl that was laughing where the stairs were.
So you guys follow him, and he walks back into the Ashland Wharf. He walks through the main stage room. He walks through that back area leading to the lounge. He walks through the lounge, past what looks like with signs saying restrooms. He walks through those hallways, through this labyrinth of hallways, and there are doors open on people engaging in various forms of pleasure and things like that. He goes through this labyrinth until he eventually comes to this random unmarked door behind a curtain. He opens the curtain and then opens the door, and before you see the vast staircase leading off into darkness.
It was literal.
What was literal?
Oh, sorry. Nothing. I get these things confused sometimes. I believe this is where he had his lab. Yes. And he might. I don't know if he'd be there still. If the host of this establishment is looking for him, let us see what
How
we
do
can
you
do.
how do you spell her name again, by the way?
Zelia, Zelia, Shea, Shea.
So there's a staircase that goes down to nothingness.
Into darkness. There's a spiraling staircase of old stone leading down into darkness. Below the waterline, mind you.
Right. Can we... are there light sources around?
Nope.
I'll stumble down the stairs.
Okay.
Like,
Well-
like try to find my way down the stairs, like without really having light. Driven, really.
So holding onto the wall, you're able to step your way down. The light that's being cast from past the curtains is enough to get down the first section. What was Martin going to say?
Said I'm going to reach out and pull out my little pocket lantern
Sure.
I have, which is more like a candle with a mirror on it
Sure.
kind of thing.
Sure.
Because a lantern is an equipment piece, so
Yeah, totally.
just doing that.
We'll say it's like a little almost like think of like a tea light, right? But it's a tiny like little area that holds a little bit of oil with one of those old wicks that comes up, and then you put a top over it, right?
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
And so you light it and top it, and has little spots for like air to get in and out.
Mm-hmm. Walk down the stairs with my light.
Martin pulls out this light, lights it, and then there's enough, and you start heading down the stairway. You go down for a while until you eventually come down to the very bottom, and it opens up into the vast space that you remember, Blinder. You all see this vast laboratory, as I explained before, with things beset everywhere. There's a sort of darkness to the space. You see the white walls on the sides. You see what looks like machines and instruments and vials and parchment set everywhere, and off across you see a door cracked open and light is shining through it.
He was in there. He'll say in very low hushed tones. He was in there.
I'll pat Blinder on the shoulder and kind of move forward towards the door.
Okay.
I'll move next to you. I'm trying to hear, is there any sound coming from the door? Do I see any shadows?
You don't see any shadows other than sort of flickering light of the lantern inside. As you approach, you start to hear faint sounds of snoring.
Okay. I'll tap Carver on the shoulder and tell him to hush. And I'll go towards the door and open it slowly.
And you
What do I
see
see?
a 15 by 15 room, as I explained, with a bed on one side and pieces of parchment and sort of a desk on the other, like a living quarters. And there's a man with a pipe sitting on the bedside table next to him that seems to be still giving off a tiny bit of smoke, and he's laying on the bed fast asleep. He's laying on top of the covers, by the way. He's not covered by covers. He's just laying there. He's like...
I'll look at Blinder and I'll ask him, like, whisper to him, is this the guy?
I think so. Yes, I think so.
Oh, awesome. I walk up over to him, kind of grab him by the shirt collar, and give him a good what for.
You like wake
Morning.
him up?
Yep.
Okay. So he wakes up. Whoa! What are you doing, man? Like, whoa. Like, chill, dude. Like, whoa.
Pick up his pipe. What's it smell like?
Like opium and something else. Something spicy.
Yeah, shit. Well,
Like-
he's high as balls.
Like, what are you guys doing here?
What's your name, friend?
Me?
Yeah.
Was he talking to me or you guys?
Talking to you.
Oh, dude, I'm Eldwin. What up, man? By the way, this is like an old man. Think of like that old stoner guy that you've all known. He's got like the long hair and everything like that. He's just like, yeah, like...
He's Tommy Chong.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Yeah,
Hey.
man, like...
You want to go for a walk?
Nah, I'm good, man.
That wasn't a question.
Why did you form it like a question? I'm confused, man.
I kind of.
You asked. You said you want to go for a walk, which implies a question. And then there wasn't, but then you said it's not a question. But it was a question. You know what I'm saying?
No, and you can stop talking before you lose the ability to.
Whoa,
No.
dude. Harsh. You're killing the vibes here, man. Like, shit. Like, just chill, dude.
Look, Eldwin, here's the deal. We need a recipe, and we need you to come back with us.
You
That's
need
what
a
we're here for.
recipe. Like, what? You're like cooking some beans or something? Like, what are you thinking?
I'll look over at Carver.
Zelia said you would know.
Zila? You mean like the lady upstairs?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I'm here, man.
I think I understand now. You don't work for Xylia anymore. I'm afraid.
No, I do, man. She's been paying me money to come up with like a new thing for her. She's like, I want something that'll make people like, it'll just like wow them, you know? So I'm like, I'm working on something. Got something in the works. Been working on it for a while, you know?
Make it stop. Make it stop.
It's
Short.
It's like
Do
a
you
hot.
Do you want to stand outside?
What do
I
you
don't
mean?
think.
I want to just sling him over my shoulder and walk out.
I don't think Zelia would let you just like take me like that, dude. Like, let's be chill, you know? Like,
Do you have the recipe finished?
yeah, that's what I'm working on down here, man.
Where
Are
is
you
it?
working on it, or is it finished?
It's finished, man. Well, I'm working on it, but you know, it's like it's real close.
So Martin immediately stands straight, walks back out into the hallway, closes the door most of the way, and just silently fumes.
Okay.
So we need the recipe done now.
Well, that's not how that works, but yeah, okay, whatever, dude. Like, take some time, you know.
How about I have a proposition for you, Mister.
Okay, I mean, you guys are here in my space, you know. I presume you're here to talk to me. Like, what's up?
You see how upset my friend is.
Yeah, yeah, I
I
do.
am very frightened myself because when he gets like that, he tends to lash out in ways that are not kind.
Did
Um,
Zelia let you guys down here? Like, what's going on?
no, we've been sent here by a Mr. Brill.
Oh, you guys work for Brill? Oh
Yes.
shit.
And
What
so
were you
we-
working on for Brill? Was it the same thing?
Yeah, dude, Brill wants it, and I told him I'd make it for him, you know, but he's like, no, I want to be the only one that has it. And I'm like, dude, like, you know, what I make isn't like your property, you know, it's like everybody can have some, you know.
We were told to bring you back, so we're gonna do that.
Maybe you
Zelia
should
just
talk-
needs the recipe.
Maybe you should
Well-
talk to Zelia first. I mean, she knows I'm down here. Like,
That's cool, but we didn't make a deal with Zelia.
I'm just saying, like, if you try to, like, leave with me, they'll probably fight you and attack you. And she's got a lot of dudes up there. Like, it might not be safe for you. Yeah.
I'm gonna immediately roll for punching him in the face to knock him out because his talking's annoying me.
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
I was just about to come and ask if I could do that.
I got a 6, a 5, and a 3.
Okay, so a full success. So you just punch him in the face, like, blap! And he's like, oh! Whoa, dude! Like, chill. Ow.
Second one.
You hit me in the noggin, dude. Like, chill.
Can I assist with this?
Sure. Are you just punching him in the face too? Like, what? How are you assisting?
I think we're just gonna try to knock him out.
Okay, but no. What I'm saying is, describe how your character's assisting.
Basically, just looking over at Reaper, kind of nodding, and then all of a sudden, both of us wind one back and just.
Okay, sure.
Do I need to roll as well?
No. An assist gives Reaper +1 dice. Is
Sweet.
the way that works.
And you gain 1 stress, Xylus.
Yes.
I got 2 6s, a 4, and a 3.
Okay.
That's a crit.
So you go, blap, and you hit him, and you just like stands there for a second, and then just on the bed, unconscious.
Was anyone else tired of hearing him talk?
Martin comes back in the room. I sure as hell was, and if we were going to do that, why didn't you just let me hit him?
Because I thought he was going to
Can't-
come with the recipe a lot quicker. We got to take this guy back to Brill. We're going to have to fight people. So
Okay.
let's get ready for that.
I look around. You said there's a bed, right? Mike?
Yeah, that's what he's laying on.
Okay. I'm going to take the corners of the sheets. I'm going to wrap him up in the sheets and blankets. Tie it like a sack.
I have a suggestion.
Okay.
I perhaps she doesn't know we're down here. Perhaps if I grab Mr. Eldwin and go out the back, well, you provide defense slash. I go one way.
Make noise. I'll go make noise.
I would
Is-
just.
What?
I'm gonna look around and check out the papers
Mhm.
and see if I can find something that resembles a list of items Like an ingredient list, a recipe, anything?
I mean, there's tons of things that seem to be formulas of different varieties, none of which you really understand.
I'm gonna pat him down.
Okay. He doesn't really seem to have anything on him other than like a pocket watch, and like a little box of matches, kind of thing, a little thing of matches.
Okay. So you take him out the back. Are you gonna need an escort?
Well, I was thinking that, yeah.
Maybe we should all go out the back.
Well, I was thinking the three of you go out the back and I go upstairs and make some racket.
No, don't make unnecessary racket, because if they don't know that we're down here, they're probably not going to be looking for us. We just got to sneak past whatever's in the back.
All right. Tie him back up in the sheets. So it's easier to carry.
Just real quick so that you guys are aware. You didn't see like a back exit at all, so that you know. You didn't see any doors that seem to lead to the outside.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's a basement.
It's a basement. There's one way in, one way out. And also, when you were in the actual pleasure house, you didn't see any entrances or exits that you could see that seemed to lead in or out. There seemed like there was one other space, potentially, where people were going in and out, maybe like in the area where employees are, kind of a thing. Yeah, go ahead.
I think I'll go out first, and I will go back up the stairs and listen and make sure to, like, scope it out first.
Sure. You get up to the top of the stairs, and it doesn't seem like anyone has noticed. Like no one's standing there. But you also, as you're sitting there looking for a second, I won't even make you roll for it because it's pretty obvious. You see what looks like the door itself has some sort of line connected to it, and it runs up and out of sight, like it's connected to something.
Okay, I'm going to play with the door a little bit. Like, I'm going to close it. It pulls the line taut, right?
It seems like when you open the door, it pulls on the line. Like...
Okay, hang on a second. Can I use Hunt to figure out where that line connects and how I can reconnect it to something so that it always stays loose?
You could just cut it if you just want it to be loose.
Oh, okay. I'll cut it. I'll grab a pocket knife.
You just don't necessarily know what it's attached to. Like, it's not keeping the door from being open or closed. It just seems like when you open it, it like pulls on the line.
I want it not to pull on the line anymore.
Okay, so you just reach up with your knife and you cut it. Okay. It was basically like, it seemed like it was like a wire or something connected to the door that went up into it, and then it like connected to a piece of rope. And then so you just like reach up in, you know, kind of like pushing up against the wall. You reach up in and you just slice the wire off the rope.
I'm going to come back down and I'm going to look at all three of them, and we got to go now because there was a line attached to this door and I don't know what it's about. But when you open it, it pulls the wire tight, and when you close it, it leaves it slack. So I cut it.
All right. I got old boy.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So
I'm going to keep frantically searching the room.
Which room?
The room that we're in.
4.
I'm searching for the recipe.
I'm just gonna grab
it has to fucking be here.
I'm gonna grab the formulas.
Well, I was gonna say, seeing as you don't know exactly what you're looking for, you could just grab up all the papers that you see and like pull them into a pile.
Yeah. And
I mean, because you're nothing.
Keep, looking
you don't
for
see anything
all
that
sorts
says
of shit.
Secret formula. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing like that. So it's like you could just grab it all because it all looks like notes. You know, so you could just grab it all and like grab all the notes that you can see and then be like, okay, I'm gonna bring these with me. Hopefully that's one of them is it.
Calm down, Plankton.
Secret formula. Yeah.
I'm gonna look around the room before we leave, just in a real hurry. And I'm gonna look for I would like to use study, if
Sure.
I could, to try to find or locate a toxic or hazardous material that would
In his bedroom?
in the lab.
Oh, okay, sure.
Because he has chemicals and
Yeah,
things,
yeah, yeah.
presumably.
Yeah.
Something that would cause like a fume, like, chlorine or something. I don't know. Like,
Sure, go ahead.
ah. Double fives.
Okay.
Two
So
fives.
you reach through and you nothing seems to be necessarily like marked. Like a few of them are marked, but some of them seem to be like you're unsure. So you open one up and you're like, that seems chemically, and then you grab it. And it seems like it's some sort of like it's a glass container and it has a very, very chemically smell to it. Like it might be some sort of, think of like industrial cleaner smell kind of a thing, really intense.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that good? Okay, perfect. So you go running back up after them, up the stairs. You guys all are heading out the door now. Blinder comes catching up to you, and now you're off into the hallways. You start retracing the steps in the way that you had come, and as you're walking down the thing, you see Zelia walking towards you, and like as you round the corner, she's just like, Eldwin, I thought I, and she stops. And by the way, you guys are a ways away from her. Like, it's like, think of like long hallway kind of a thing.
We're going for drinks. We'll be back.
Boys. She says and points. And then you see two dudes just come running down the hallway after you. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to run right back at them, and I'm going to charge them.
Okay, who has Eldwin, by the way? Okay, Martin does. Okay, cool. So you guys are now at basically a T, right? There was like a T of hallways. And then this way, like pointing down, is where you saw Zelia. She's sending the two big guys towards you. Are you guys moving direction, or are you all going right towards them?
I'm going to look at Martin.
Okay.
And I'm going to look at Blinder.
Okay.
Get him out. I'm going to look at Carver. You can come with me, or you can go with them.
Or you and I can be here and they can take him.
They're charging at us right now. We have like 2 seconds to make this call.
Okay, I'm bolting.
Hey, which direction are you going? Just the other direction of the hallway?
I am following the person who knows the maze.
I will lead him.
So is Reaper going after the dudes that are coming after us then?
Yeah, that seems to be the case.
All right,
Yes.
I'm going to go back up Reaper.
Okay. Blinder?
I am leading Martin.
The way you came was the way these guys are at.
Oh, do I have a better sense of the layout of this place because of the... Okay.
You only went the one direction, and you only know that direction really back.
I'm going to attempt to lead him anyway, just trying to logic my way out of this place.
Okay, so I'll go to you guys real quick. You follow down the continued like T hallway until you eventually come to basically like sort of a room at the end, and it's an open bedroom. There's a stairway up that seems like it leads to a second story. You remember seeing that VIP area in the second story above. Do you go up the stairway?
Yes.
Okay, so you go up the stairway. It leads you up to another hallway, and then you see a door at the far end. There are more like basically like rooms and things like that. These ones are a little bigger, it seems like. Like each of them is almost like a mini lounge unto itself. So, and most of the doors are only slightly ajar or are actually fully closed, but it just seems like these rooms are much bigger based on the spacing of the doors, etc.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to find a way that's like a hallway to the outside where the banister was, because we're in the back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we went up, and now we're on the second floor.
Yep.
And presumably there would be one hallway where the servants would get back and forth to the access room. So that's
or where the guests would go, which is kind of the area.
That's where Ezra. Yeah, so he's gonna try to.
Are you looking for something specific? You're looking for like you're looking for basically areas where you might see the like drapes, not drapes, but the curtains. That's what you're kind of looking for.
Yeah, like a servant's hallway or something.
Okay.
Right.
So you're
something
eventually
that would run the course of this building.
Sure. You're eventually like you're running through, and then as you go to the end of this hallway, and then take a right, you keep going, and then to your left you see like a curtained door, and out beyond that you see the balcony, the balcony area in the main room.
Okay, I'm going to point. It's like, go that way. I'm going to cause a distraction.
Oh, okay.
Which way are you pointing him to go?
To the front door. If I see the balcony, I could see the front door as well, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, the balcony is like a balcony that looks overhead, and there's a drop down to the main stage area, and then there's that one curtain door down beyond underneath, yeah. So there's on the opposite side of you, on the opposite side across the opening is the big L stairway I talked about that leads down kind of towards the door. So you would go around down the L stairway that would eventually like go halfway through the room, and then you'd have to go across the room to the curtain door.
Yeah, I'm going to let him take the lead on that one, and then I'm going to stop. So I'm going to prepare to throw my concoction.
Oh, okay.
I'm not taking any kind of staircase. It's an open balcony with a rail to down below.
Yes.
Okay. Or what? Are there people chasing me?
Not currently, it seems like it.
Okay. Well, then I will take the stairs because I don't need to jump down then.
Okay. As you go running, you're running around the edge. There are a few people down beneath that are just like, I think that's them, they say as they see you holding the dude, and they yell up at you, and so they start heading for the stairway across the big open room.
Okay, so they're trying to cut me off on the stairway?
Yeah, basically.
So, I'm going to wait until they get within about, I'm going to stop running and let them get up onto the top level.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm going to burn two stress to use not to be trifled with, to hop the rail and land on the stage. Or, hop over the rail down to the first floor as close to the door to getting out as possible. Because it says I can do perform a feat of physical force that verges on the superhuman.
Oh, okay. So you're trying to jump, basically, is your feat of force.
Yeah. It's more the landing. It's kind of land with him, roll to avoid taking as much damage as possible.
You're not going to be able to roll with someone over your shoulder.
True. Well, I pray that
you could just try to jump and just brunt all the weight, and that would be a feat of strength.
Okay.
Because that takes a tremendous amount of strength. I am going to say that this is a desperate roll because you're attempting something with a man over your shoulder, basically a full-grown man.
Okay.
If it was just you jumping down, I'd be like, oh yeah, you got it. With the thing, you can do the power and whatnot. But yeah, this will be a desperate roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure. The only thing that I could really put to it would be skirmish, because it's repeated combat training, basically.
I would say this would be more like finesse or something that has to do with your body's movement, basically. Okay. Something movement based or whatever.
So this is a desperate action, and I have no dots in finesse.
Okay.
So I'm at disadvantage. Two dice take the lowest one, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Would you like to spend 2 stress or take a devil's bargain? Or would Ezra like to assist him in some way or something?
Yeah, Ezra will try to assist him. He'll basically point out a soft landing. He's like, jump there!
Oh, okay, perfect, yeah.
Awesome. So that takes me to a regular roll.
And Ezra will spend 1 stress.
Trying... And you know what? I am going to push myself.
Okay.
For this one as well.
Okay.
Just lost all the stress, and now I got it all back.
Well, yeah, it's 2 stress for you, and then Blinder spent 1.
Yeah, so now
you have 2 dice.
Now I have 2 dice. I rolled a 5 and a 2.
Okay, that's a mixed success. So you jump off the edge, you land. The consequence, however, though, is that as you land, trying to keep him from just going oh and like taking a bunch of damage on the fall, you basically let him fall to the ground and like kind of like holding him enough to where like he won't land as hard either, and so you sort of lose your grip on him for a second. So basically, that's just going to affect your next action if you're trying to just tuck and roll from that point, right?
Okay.
But yeah, you succeed. You make it down. You take no damage. You land it. I mean, it was rough on you. You'll definitely like be a little sore tomorrow, that sort of thing. But otherwise, you have landed safely. Okay, so to Reaper and Carver in the hallway. Oh, did you have something, Blinder, real quick?
Well, those guys are coming up at me too. I'm still in the banister, right?
Yes. Yes. What was your plan?
I'm just gonna. I was initially gonna chuck the thing down below, but then I see the two guys, and I'm like. And I'm just gonna scream out to the room. I'm gonna be like, "Everybody, panic!" And I'm gonna chuck it in the dude's face.
Okay, you're just gonna like
right, one of the guys' face and try to run past him.
Oh, sure, go ahead. You're just gonna throw the chemicals in their face. Okay.
I would like to use sway, if that would be.
No.
No.
This is the challenge, by the way, is people are going to panic. This is more of a like the challenge of you throwing it in their face. You know what I mean?
Can I use
unless you're just trying to frighten them, so even if it doesn't hit them, it's still I presumed your plan was to try and like blind them with it, right?
No. He was gonna if it will succeed in allowing me to get past him, I would do we could just go to frighten him.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're trying to just if you're, I thought what you were saying is you're trying to actually hit him in the face with the liquid. So you're trying to like aim and hit him in the face. That's why I said it probably wouldn't be sway, because you're not like convincing him like, hey, let me hit you in the face, there, guy. You know, that sort of thing. But if your plan is just to like shock him for a minute and make him think you're gonna hit him, then yeah, totally, you can totally do sway then. Yeah, if you're just like, I'm gonna get you, you know what I mean? Like you're holding it, like you're threatening him and gonna put it in his eyes or something. Yeah.
Okay, position on this one.
This would be a standard, or so risky standard. Yeah,
sure. 4 and a 3.
Okay, that's a mixed success. So you threaten him with it, and you're like, you want that in your eyes, and they're like, oh, what's that?
I'm gonna try to push past him.
Yeah, they're like having that moment where they're not sure if they should grab you or not, and they're just like, what do you like? They're unsure of what you got. I presume you're probably like, it's an acid. Don't make me use it or something, right?
This will turn you into a green toad. You know, like
they look at each other like, what?
It's acid. It's acid.
She turned me into a newt.
Not go better.
Okay, so to Reaper and Carver. You are running down the hallway towards two big dudes that are running towards a hallway towards you. So what are you doing? Go ahead.
I am going to charge them and attempt to tackle one and punch him until he stops moving.
Okay.
How many of them are there?
2.
2?
Yeah.
I am going to try to go up to the other one. And using a chain, I'm gonna kind of try to jump up and then kind of like end up on the backside and kind of garrote him like over the shoulder into a slam.
Okay, sure. Oh, both of you go ahead and roll.
Chain link DDT.
This would be a skirmish.
Like, ninja chain shit.
Yeah.
Can I use finesse?
Sure. Because you described that you're trying to use his body weight and throw him. Sure, I'd be okay with that.
Can I use wreck?
Sure. I mean, if you're being extremely forceful, if it's not precise, like you're not being precise, you're being forceful. So you're just basically, you're literally just slamming into the dude and then just like blah blah blah, like okay.
2 5s.
Okay.
I got 2 4s and a 1.
Okay, so mixed success on both of you. So Reaper goes like basically spears the guy to the ground, is still on top of him. He's not unconscious. You start trying to fight him, and he's like grabbing at your hands, but you've got him and you're on top of him. Carver, you jump around the dude, grabbing him with the thing, and then flip him over and now have him in front of you, like on the ground, but he's not unconscious either. But you have successfully, like, basically removed them from being standing there on the ground, that sort of thing. So what would you like to do next?
I want to roll onto the dude's back.
Okay.
And then continue applying pressure and choke the guy out into unconsciousness.
Okay. Okay, go ahead and roll for that. What would you like to do, Reaper?
I'm going to continue punching.
Oh, just blah, blah. Okay.
It's going to be a 6 and a 4.
Okay. That's a full success. So yeah, you Carver, wrap around the dude, grab him, and you're like, and then he just slumps, unconscious. And then Reaper, what'd you get?
I got a 6 and 2 1s.
Okay, you still got a full success. So you just keep smacking the dude, and then eventually he's like getting bloodied, and he's just like laying there.
Okay, so once they're unconscious, where's the chick that called them?
She ran already.
I'm going to go after her.
Okay.
I will as well.
Okay.
I'll even use my hunt skill.
Me too.
Well, I mean, she's pretty obviously like a ways ahead of you. You can see her down the hallway, and she's turned a corner.
Oh yeah, no. Pursuing.
Okay.
She fucked up on the deal.
So you go chasing her, and you see her run into the big room. As you enter the big room, you see Martin come jumping off the banister, landing. Blah! You see Blinder go like, "I've got acid!" And he like screams, and then the dudes are like back away, and he like slowly is walking backwards down the stairs with both of them kind of coming towards him, but they're not sure. Like they're gonna play, like they're not grabbing him or anything, but they're unsure. And you guys come through the thing. You see Xylus in the room off to the right, and you see that she has motioned to a few other people who basically come out and they pull out guns.
Okay. How many of them are there with guns?
3.
I will immediately sprint towards... Are they in a group or are they spread out?
They're in a group. They seem to be like basically guarding the door that Xylus is like right next to.
And which direction? We need to go out that door, don't we?
The door. Okay, so no. She's not at the front door. She's at like that back servants door that I talked about. Remember how I said the like servers and food people were going through a back door? That's the door she's standing near. And then there's the front door on the other side.
Okay, so what is between us and the front door?
At this point, more or less nothing.
Okay.
Like there's a few other customers, but none of them are getting in the way. Most of them are like huddled under tables at this point now, seeing guns being drawn, screams of acid. People are panicking. Like it's most people are like hiding away or have already ducked into booths, and are kind of out of the way.
Okay, I'm gonna scream at Blinder and Martin to go, and I will take up the rear.
Okay.
Okay.
Anybody else doing anything?
She says go, I'm going.
Hoofing it.
Okay, so you go
Just
running out of the building.
Grabbing my jacket. I know I have my jacket on.
Grab my jacket.
From
We went out
the
already.
thing. Okay, so
Yeah,
you
we
guys
had
grab
gone
your
out
thing, and then
before.
the doorman standing
Oh, right.
there
Yes, we
is like
did.
hidden in the closet with your with your coats, and he like just hands one of you awkwardly the coat.
Tip him!
Martin just tips him a piece of silver and then walks out.
I take one of my poker chips.
Okay.
Fling it over.
So you guys go out. You call over a gondola. Nobody seems to be coming at the door at you. It seems like they were basically hoping that you wouldn't chase them, so they were just like that kind of like stay back, kind of a thing. You made it with the chaos of the crowd and all the customers freaking out. They didn't shoot at you or anything because it didn't seem like they probably could get a shot at you at that point in time. And you made it safely out. You hop into a gondola, and where are you going?
Back to the
Back to
smell.
Brill.
Okay,
Or
so I
back
presume
to-
you guys are
no,
probably
back to
going.
Brill.
Are you going directly back to Brill?
Yes.
Okay.
Might as well. They already know where he's going.
Okay. So with that successful first group mission, I think that is an excellent point to end tonight's game.
We've
As
made 30 plans and followed none of them.
Hey, high five, everybody!
As the four of you are in the gondola and it is going out through the water, heading through heading through Silk Shore to eventually find your way to Night Market. I think that is where we will call the game for now. With you having Eldwin Morval safely in your care. Okay, awesome game, everybody. That was awesome.
Safely in our care. Yeah,
Safely
that was
in our care.
beautiful.